I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in the right to be allowed to have an opinion. If people want to believe Meghan Markle, that's entirely their right. I don't believe almost anything that comes out of her mouth, and I think the damage she's done to the British monarchy and to the Queen at a time when Prince Philip is lying in hospital is enormous and frankly contemptible. So if I have to fall on my sword for expressing an honestly held opinion about Meghan Markle and that diatribe of bilge that she came out with in that interview, so be it.
So the big story of the day is, of course, Harry and Meghan. It's dominating everything, and it will go on doing so for a very long time. It seems in America that they're gaining a lot of support. People feel sorry for them. They've got what's called mover's advantage. They've got their side of the story out first. I'm not sure how the royal family are going to respond to this. They've been put in a very, very difficult spot. But you know, all of this was so predictable. I remember thinking at the time of the wedding, and I was doing some work for Fox News on the wedding. I remember thinking, why is Oprah Winfrey there? I mean, Meghan met her once. I think she planned a big Hollywood career on the back of being a princess right from the very word go, and that Harry was just too weak to deal with it. But just look at the accusations that are being made. Look at the charge against the royal family of racism. Now, everyone knows when a baby's on the way, there's always speculation. What will it look like? Who will he or she look like? What colour will their hair be? How big will they be? What will they weigh? I don't know whether somebody in the royal household made a comment about what the colour might be. I don't know the truth of that. I really honestly don't. But when Meghan was questioned on that, you know, did somebody in the royal household ask what colour the baby would be? She said potentially. Either way, we won't know. But it is the slur of racism against the royal family which really upsets me. The Queen is coming up now for 70 years, not just as the Queen of our country, but head of the Commonwealth. She and the royal family have ceaselessly, over the decades, toured around the Commonwealth, something that has meant so much to them. The vast majority of the 2.3 billion people that live in the Commonwealth are Asian or black. You could argue the royal family have done more for people of colour than any other family or group of people in the world. So that charge, to me, just doesn't stand up. As for this whole business about mental health, about bullying, about being silenced, well, you know, she might have thought she was joining a soap opera, but she was joining the royal family. Maybe she thought she was going to replace Lady Di. Maybe she thought she was going to be the centre of all attention. But the idea that she has somehow been done down or discriminated against in any way is nonsense. The crowds that were there on the day of the royal wedding, the street parties that took place across the country, the media, it was wall to wall. Do you remember her going to Brixton? They were cheering, "We love you, Meghan." I can't think of anything, any negativity in the press at the time of their wedding. Sure, criticism followed. It always does if you're a public figure with the English tabloid press. That goes with the territory. But this all started because Harry and Meghan were lecturing us about climate change, about carbon emissions, whilst flying around the world in private jets. And that was when the criticism began. So off they went to Canada, to live in isolated Canada, because they didn't want the press speculation. Really? Well, now Harry's on the James Corden show. They're both appearing in a 2-hour special with Oprah Winfrey. If you haven't watched the CBS output last night, you can, if you wish, see it on ITV today. But it's all about victimhood. It's all about how badly they've been treated. And they are posing an enormous threat to the royal family, who are going to find it, as I said before, very tough to answer some of these negatives. I kind of grew up thinking that Edward VIII, Wallis Simpson, these were really bad people. And yet, when you look at it, you know, they were interviewed, big sit down in their house in Paris in about 1970, and both of them were loyal to the Crown, did not say disobliging things about it to their dying day, despite the fact they were treated very, very harshly indeed. So we need to get the word out in America. I've been trying a bit today on some American media channels that this is one side of a story and that actually they've behaved badly. And as for Harry, well, whatever my criticisms are of Meghan, they are nothing as compared to how I feel about Prince Harry. To publicly betray members of your own family in front of the world's media the way that he has done is, I think, nothing short of being absolutely despicable. And when he says, oh, my father wasn't promising us lots of money, well, of course not, because he wasn't prepared to go on doing the job. The most damning thing that I've heard about Prince Harry is there he was, Captain General of the Royal Marines. And on the day there was a Royal Marine event, a fundraising event, where was he? In Leicester Square, talking to the boss of Disney, Bob Iger, and overheard saying to Eisner, my wife would like some voiceover work. So don't talk to us about duty being universal. We saw a better sense of duty, I think, from the Queen talking about Commonwealth Day, which of course is today. I think the time has come to strip them of their royal titles. They are clearly intent on, number one, destroying the monarchy, and number two, making themselves as bigger stars, as bigger leaders of the woke revolution in America and the rest of the world. It's a very, very sad day for this country. I have no sympathy for either of them whatsoever. She must have known what she was getting into. He was born into a life of privilege. I know it was an awful thing to lose his mother in such a public way at that young age. But if we destroy the monarchy, we destroy something very special about this country. I think that's what they're intent on doing. And I'm going to do my best over the next week to try and get that counter-argument put out there into America. The idea that the British royal family are racist after all they've done for the Commonwealth is, frankly, beneath contempt.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, good evening everybody. Welcome to the Ben&Grem Show. I'm obviously Grem, the good looking one.
And I'm Ben. Hello, welcome to the Ben&Grem Show. This is Monday evening, Grem. This is the evening where we say hello. It's been a while. November last year, 2020, was the last time we were live. And we're here today to talk to you about everything going on in this present day of March, the 2021 era, which is some months later. It's been a while, Graham, and we had an episode, didn't we? And it was a long time ago. We had what, something like, and we that's right, yeah, we had an episode, and it was on November time of 2020. And then we said we're going to be back in a couple of weeks, and we were going to get back because we had a bit of a break, and then we came back. And then we never went with another show. And it's been this long. We had Christmas, we had lockdowns, 1s, 2s and 3s. I think we had 3 lockdowns, didn't we? And
We did.
And all of a sudden, we're now back here. It's now March 2021. We are now saying that we're going to be out of lockdown by June, to the point where we're going to go back to our said normal. And then here we are. But I want to give a special thanks, Graham, not only to see you again, and this wonderful beard of which you've got, because I do enjoy it.
Oh, yes.
I think you do look rather smart. And I look as scruffy as
Quite a
usual.
cold beard, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I look as scruffy as usual.
Do you know how I got this beard?
Nope.
Well, one evening I decided to pleasure the better half, and then as soon as I appeared back up, I was just covered.
What, in beard hair?
Yeah. It's just so amazing, isn't it? I just can't believe it. How fast it grew. I do not know what actually caused it to grow so.
Well, let's just say it's rather artistic, and I enjoy it, and I know the viewers do too. I will say though, we want to give, certainly, don't we, a special thanks to Mr. Nigel Farage, because he, along with Piers Morgan, has been part of some involvement towards discussions around Meghan and Harry, the Prince of Wales. Is he Prince of Wales?
No, Sussex.
Sussex, there you go.
Get it
Well,
correctly.
Wales, I'm thinking of Princess Diana, aren't I? Princess Diana, Princess of Wales. No, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about her son, Harry. Because Harry has been at the centre of some rather alarming controversy around his other half. Some would say better half.
His wife.
His wife, but I would say
Yes.
better half, but not in this case, maybe. Meghan.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. And of course, she has, of course, controlled. I would say controlled Harry, but that's the wrong word to use. I would say she has caused a huge amount of controversy in the media with a recent interview, which of course Nigel Farage earlier in this moment of the episode had suggested of Oprah Winfrey. I actually didn't know how to say that, but now I've got it. So the point is this, Graham. We are getting to the point of the discussion. Harry and Meghan. Meghan Markle, Harry... What's Harry's second name?
Windsor.
Of course it is.
It's actually, what is it? It's
Harry Windsor.
Henry something.
The 8th. Harry the 8th? Henry the 8th?
No. His actual birth name is Henry.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I should know this, people.
He does know this.
Yeah. I do know this, but I'm feeling pretty tired at the moment. So I apologise, everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well let's get to the point. I mean, regardless of what he's called, doesn't matter.
But
Does
his
it?
first name, his Christian name, which is written in stone, is Henry. But he's known as Harry.
Who was the guy that pulled the sword out of the stone?
Richard the First, wasn't it? Was it?
Richard Lionheart.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. He was Scottish.
Oh, do you know what? I really don't care.
No, neither do I, because we're off topic. Sorry.
No. And you're doing this at a very difficult moment, but carry on.
Yeah, no, I will. I will continue. So, actually, it's not anything to do with, what's his name? Lionheart.
No, for crying out loud.
Harry.
Lord, please give me strength.
Yeah, no, Harry Windsor and Meghan Markle. Are they not married yet?
No, Prince Harry.
So
he's known as Prince
it's not.
Harry.
It's Meghan Windsor then, isn't it? It's
No.
not Meghan Markle, is it?
It's Prince Harry.
But she
and
kept her own name. That's arrogant.
His Royal Highness Prince Harry and Her Royal Highness Meghan. But
Yeah.
most people call her Meghan just now.
Right.
Because of the insult that she has
So
given
they don't believe
towards
she
the
deserves.
Queen.
She doesn't. People say then. Actually, technically, then people don't just think she deserves the status as a royal highness. Highness?
No, she did.
Did.
She did until she just until she or how would you say it? How would you say it without actually being questioned by a certain group of people, which are a
Of a woke generation.
minority of
Woke.
woke people.
Woke people, I like that. Well, they are. We give them that
Yeah.
credit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt. They are woke people.
The
They
thing
are
is,
human.
Meghan was she knew what she was marrying into.
course she did.
She knew that.
Of course.
She knew it.
I think it's fair to say that Meghan knew that. I mean, one thing that was striking me, actually, Graham, was when Meghan had claimed that she wasn't aware of the fact that she had to curtsy to the Queen at lunch.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to say this. I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to use the word that starts with a B. But hopefully you will understand. It's something that hangs between a male's legs. What a load of... She knew,
Betty
basically. She knew, basically, what, honestly, and how on earth can Harry allow that?
I got
How?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest.
What an insult to his own grandmother.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Well, it doesn't matter who you speak to. Anybody that is fond of the royals knows that there is nobody in the royals particularly that is ever to be considered racist or otherwise would ever be questioned as being racist. But there is a conversation at the moment
Well,
in
the
the
thing
basis,
is,
basis of...
sorry to interrupt you, mate.
No, you carry on.
But the thing is that I mean, Her Majesty the Queen is the head of state of many nations, as we know.
As the Commonwealth, yeah.
Yeah. And she, she started the Commonwealth and continued it, didn't she? Sorry.
Yeah.
Continued it, and she's basically wished to keep it together fully and increase the numbers.
Absolutely.
But from time to time, individual nations have left. That's their own decision.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been forced to stay. Of course, they've been spoken to by Her Majesty's people to reconsider, maybe, on what can we do. But they've decided to go on their own way. But only a few. But at the end of the day, it's a big family of nations that are known as the Commonwealth. There is no way, shape or form under God's earth that the monarchy is racist.
No, of course not.
So how on earth anyone can even comprehend that is just ridiculous.
It's unthoughtful. And Graham, I have to say, I respect... Now, given Piers Morgan's position, right, because he's been on GMB, Good Morning Britain? Good Morning Britain. Now, I will say that he has been, I think, quite good, hasn't he, in the limelight? I mean, all right, he has had some slanted left-wing views, I think, but he also does glance over to the right. He is somebody who likes
recently, he has gone a lot over towards the left and the woke side of things, even though he won't admit it, but he has done.
Truth be known, I think it's fair to say.
And
yes.
then all of a sudden, with this latest situation to do with His Royal Highness Harry and his wife Meghan, and it's difficult for me to say this because of my affection that I have towards Her Majesty the Queen. What she's done towards Her Majesty the Queen is unacceptable, and I won't put up with it. And I'm hoping the majority won't put up with it either.
I think fair to say, Graham, I think a lot of people, when we talk of majority, I think are in the same view as you,
yes.
or are of the same view as you, because a lot of people respect the monarchy, particularly if you're British, English, Irish, Scottish and Welsh, and of course a member of the Commonwealth. They do understand that actually it's important to have a royal family. Other nations aren't blessed with the same luxury, if you like, as we are as UK. And and I think, if I'm honest with you, over all the controversies of which the royal family may have had over the years, I think this one just tops the lot, doesn't it? And I don't like to say this.
It's disgusting the way it's all been handled.
I don't like to say this, Graham, but I'm of the view of this, right? Now, given Meghan Markle's status, right? Now, bearing in mind, she had made it herself, right? We knew that she was into acting, or she was actress, should I say? She, from my understanding, not that I know myself personally, but I understand that she was a very, very good actress.
Reasonable,
and fair to say, I think it's fair to say, fairly well educated. I mean, there's no wrong in that, to say that at least. Now, she has got involved with the royal family, and as I said, I'm going to come back to that point I mentioned earlier. But to suggest that she wasn't aware that she had to curtsy for the Queen. I know we discussed this. I asked
Unbelievable.
myself,
I mean, how on earth? I mean, come on, everyone.
is she not?
Would you actually stand in front of a monarch and expect to just stand there?
If greeted.
I mean,
if greeted. Yeah.
I mean, doesn't Meghan realise how stupid that it actually makes her look? It's ridiculous.
Well, but this is where I start to worry, because I think actually I worry for the fact that she has used and weaponised a real concern that people see and experience on a day-to-day basis of the lesser life experience, or otherwise the lesser way of life experience, and yet she's used this as a weapon to try and get her point across. Now, I refer to, and I will say, depression. Now, depression is something that not only have I experienced, but many people, I think it's fair to say, at one point in their lives will have maybe have experienced. And it's good to say that nowadays, in this generation, that it's good to talk about it.
Do you know
It's
what
good.
I think it is? Sorry.
No, you carry on.
What I think it is basically that it's all part and parcel. It seems to be that all of a sudden, all their security have been stripped.
Yeah.
I mean, they are no longer working royals.
No.
So why should the British taxpayer pay for it? I mean, come on, everyone. Do you know? Why should we pay for it?
Yeah.
We should not pay for that.
No, I agree.
So I believe that this is all part and parcel of what's going on. Is basically to cause enough friction and energy to be able to hopefully hope that the monarchy of our great United Kingdom will restart the payments of protection. Well,
Yeah, and I you know, Graham, I'm totally and absolutely in agreement with you. What I will say as well is that when you take Harry, now he's been brought up with the royal family. He is absolutely a
he
royalist.
dotes on his grandma.
He dotes on his grandma.
Always
He
has done.
Of course he does.
He's
And
loved
what-
her.
And what grandson doesn't? And that's the fact of this.
But he should literally,
But I think he is caught.
like a seagull, done what a seagull does. You know, on his grandmother. I mean, it's disgusting.
So what you're saying is essentially what he has done is he's swooped along, he's flown, he's waited to land on the nearest perch possible, but then noticed his grandmother and popped.
We thought, oh, who are you? And then let his load go. Exactly. Yes. Honest.
And he let his load
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. The whole of his load.
I will say, you're not wrong. But
No.
what I will say is...
And I hope he realises this.
And I think he will.
Very selfish individual.
And I think he will.
Totally.
And do you know why I think he will realise this? Because when and if, now it's more about if than when, because women are powerful people. They can rule a man's world. They can, and they do, and they should, because they are pretty well endowed upstairs. I will say this, all right, and I'm not being sexist, all right? Women can multitask. They can.
The thing is,
My point is this.
if you have a good lady in your life, then you obviously would not put yourself in a position to be able to be challenged that way.
Yeah.
But we can move on from there.
Yeah, but my point is this. Women can drive the relationship, and understandably so, and rightly so, because they are seen to be the better half. You know, how many times have we as men said, the better half said this, or the better half said that? Now, she is the Harry's better half, right? Okay, he probably says that.
I would disagree.
We would disagree. But
no,
actually,
I think the majority would disagree.
absolutely. But him and his mates would say the better half, you know, when they're down the
Well,
pub.
of course, because why?
Because Harry...
No, we're looking at the capital letters now, everybody. W-O-K-E. Ness. Wokeness.
Yes. But...
That's the reason.
Oh, of course. But no, but he, amongst his friends, would put, you know, just in conversation, the better half, you know, she said I had to do the dishes last night and I was tired. I came in from work, I had too much rounds of cricket I just want to go to bed. Right? No, but the better half said I had to do such and such, so I had to do it because I wanted. I'm going to say now an easy life. Now take this with Meghan and Harry. Now they've got together.
Actually, I would settle for that. I think
He wants an easy life.
Would you say Mega Mouth or Meghan? Meghan, wasn't it?
I mean, she's probably all that great. She's probably all right, generally behind closed doors. But you know what worries me? Is she could be somebody who's quite a dominant individual. She's quite dominant personality. And if I'm honest with you, she has to be, because why? And I'll tell you
I believe she could be a nice person.
Yeah, so do I. But do you know why I think she's so dominant? It's because she has gone to the lengths that she has to do what she's done. Now, my point is this. That's how I know she's a dominant individual. And I think that's why I think Harry also realises this. And he likes her for reasons that he does, and that's up to him. And so he wants to play the middle ground. And unfortunately, the family comes into play. The family, it's a situation where he wants to keep on sides.
Yeah, but he's ditched his family, mate.
He's ditched his family.
The thing
yes.
is, he's ditched his family.
He has for love. But the point I'm getting at is he will know. There will be a time where he will realise. He might then come round eventually.
But
I'm not saying that's right.
Pick me up on it in a minute, just in case I forget. But the thing is, with Meghan, what we need to understand is that something obviously has happened within her upbringing and throughout her life, and also in connection with her ability. A very good ability to act, and I mean that in a nice way, not negatively. Within the recent documentary, called Suits. A series called Suits. A very, very, very well
endowed,
performed. Not endowed, no. I won't go that far. It's not that great. It's not that massive. You know, it didn't lead any limit.
It wasn't a hit.
You know what I mean? No. It basically.
But Greg,
she done well. She done well with her acting. Basically.
Who are we talking about again?
Meghan.
Meghan, yeah.
She done well, brilliantly. But most of her lines anyway. I will be brief on this. Were pretty slim anyway.
Be full of detail, Graham, because that's what we're here for.
No, there's no point.
The Ben&Grem never misses out of detail.
Have you watched an episode of Suits?
No.
Right. Most of Meghan's lines were literally, I probably would say, maybe between 6 and 10 words. There you go, done. But at the end of the day, she did perform them extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good on her, and I do believe she is quite a great actress.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, and actually, and I'll come to a point where I was having this conversation with somebody about the whole controversy around Meghan Markle and Harry and the Queen and everything going on in the monarchy and all the rest of it. And one chap in particular at work actually said, mention no names of course for various reasons. I like saying that bit. It sounds great. It's like a viewer's discretion be advised moment. And of course he responded back to me and said, but she's an actor, Ben. And I went, yes. Well, she's an actor, he said. He made that point. He emphasised that point, which then made me think, she acts. She's acting up. She is playing a persona. She hasn't got back to the real world. It's almost like she's reliving that acting experience
because she wants to keep
it going
within that. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And she thought, that only a few months in the British monarchy would actually give her the enough boost.
She could even have thought, in her infinite wisdom, she could even have thought that maybe by acting like this, Graham, that the Queen might have backed it.
Oh no, the Queen never would.
But did she know that? Let's say she thought.
Well, if she didn't know that, I will say now.
She didn't realise
clearly to everyone. How stupid are you, Meghan?
But not just that. But just think, she didn't realise she had to curtsy for the Queen. Now,
no, that's just ridiculous. I don't accept that.
Actually, I think that's ridiculous too.
That's pathetic.
I think she was
just
playing.
Poor stupidity.
She's playing to the heartstrings of the.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think she was playing to heartstrings on that one. I haven't seen the interview.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
I mean, she's sitting there, and everyone knows when you are discussing something with someone, and they are meant to be telling you some kind of truth. Eye contact is extremely important. You know, it needs to be there, and the feeling that you get from the person. But with Meghan, it was like,
yeah,
and then opened eyes, and then
it was almost like,
and then opened eyes. You know, I mean, but luckily, jumping ahead, otherwise this topic may go on a bit longer than expected.
Well, the people are interested in what we have to say, Graham. Is the Ben&Grem Show. This is where
Her Majesty the Queen and her advisors have actually brought in outside, you know, assistants, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and they have. And they've gone towards seeking a lawyer independently outside of it all because they want to protect themselves, and rightly so, because let's face it, from the Queen's point of view, but not just from the Queen. Let's take the whole monarchy, for example. Now, they've had this family dispute, let's say family dispute for a moment, all right, caused, in my opinion, one way, and so to protect themselves and their identity over some of the accusations that have been made is absolutely justified. And I think when you think of how the Queen is the epiphany of the Commonwealth, as like Nigel had said earlier, is a very good reason as to why the reputation of which she has rightfully earned should be protected. So she has to go legal. I think she has to, because it's not, I mean, potentially it could be slander. It could be.
No, in any other situation, it probably would have been initiated through the lawyers of the palace. That would have been the process, but because Harry has allowed the situation, because it is Harry at the end of the day, because he is the head of his side of the family unit, has allowed the situation to develop the way
to manifest.
It has. I am really pleased that the monarchy the Queen has actually brought in an outside organisation, because that is something that probably himself, Harry, and Meghan would not have expected.
No.
So they are probably at the moment packing their bags and getting ready to bloody pack away and move to Mars or something.
Yeah, they are. And
honestly, because they are not only one person here, but you can't mention the individual's name because straight away you are classed as whatever. Yeah. I'm not even going to say the word because I'm fed up with this wokeness. I'm fed up with everything to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, as well, Graham, is you make a point about how the monarchy have gone independently within legal proceedings. Now that makes sense because by going independent, it really does reinforce the monarchy's position.
I feel
independent.
I honestly feel, Ben, that basically it was a very, very clever move of Her Majesty the Queen.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazingly done. Totally.
Because
I hope, I really do hope that the truth is fulfilled. But you know what? The woke generation will probably go, what? Was that a bit of a breeze?
Yeah, oh yeah, they'll just...
Do you know that's because that's what they're like?
Yeah,
because they're allowed to have developed in that way.
Yeah, yeah. They will probably dismiss it. But the point is that what we do know is that the Queen has and the monarchy have gone independent. So therefore, they've got nothing to hide. Because if they had, you would probably expect them to use their own internal legal proceedings. But however, they didn't. They went external. They
and
went
I'm glad they did.
And I think that says 1,000 words.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean that says that the Queen's got nothing to hide.
Yeah. No.
The whole family haven't got anything to hide.
I actually feel that that they went that direction because they knew if they went the other direction, it would have been question after question after question after question. They have gone to an independent outside organisation that is being vetted probably by the government and other organisations. So no connection at all.
Exactly.
No connection or control at all. Meghan, believe me, you are probably going to be found. I don't even like to say it. Why you've had to put yourself through this, your own children, you know, child.
Yeah, it's sad.
I mean, it is sad. And Harry, I'm sorry, I'm disgusted in you, mate. I really am.
I think Harry.
Totally disgusted.
For me, I think Harry is. I'm going to say rock in a hard place because I'll give you an example.
I don't know if you can.
I will try. I'm not even sure I can actually. When you have a relationship, and I'm not saying this is exactly the case for every situation that we might come across, but when you have a relationship, male and female, I know in this day and age that's not entirely politically correct, although that's what one would see in the Christian life, and one of which I believe there is now one of which we can now say female to female or male to male. But let's just say the male and female, for example, for argument's sake. The female has controlling arch power over the male, and that's naturally, and I think it's fair to say, evidently clear. Regardless of who you speak to, regardless of what male you come across, and even the most peak-headed males who would be male chauvinist might say otherwise, they know themselves when it comes to women, they hold control. Now in that instance, Meghan has Harry where she wants him. She knows that for example, now what I can say, and I haven't seen the documentary, but I've heard a lot of opinions based on this, and what I've heard is that Harry had no opportunity or very little opportunity to express his desire or points.
It seemed that way, the way it was edited.
Exactly, and so Meghan was almost...
He knew. Yeah. The thing is, he knew.
Controlling the point.
He knew, and Her Majesty the Queen isn't stupid. Do you know what? She's the head of state of how many countries, mate?
Well, yeah.
She's not stupid.
She's not.
He has basically...
We have talked...
I never thought I would be so forceful and strong over a member of the royal family. But he has shite on his family, and I'm disgusted in him. Totally disgusted.
I think
really
I think he will have it. I think in my honest and total...
But do you know what? Do you know what? I'm sorry, Ben, to interrupt, but I will welcome him back.
Well, I think...
But her, no.
I think the nation will, because I think...
not happening. No, her, no.
I don't think it's forever.
No. I honestly feel that there's no way at all that I would have to say, no, I'm not welcoming her back. Okay?
I think it won't be forever.
I honestly feel that relationship is not going to last. And if I had a lot of money, I would bet a lot on it. No way.
I thought you were going to give a figure then. I was just thinking, how much are you going to talk about?
If I had £1 million,
there
you go, I would bet it quite gladly. There's no way that relationship is going to last. And then Harry will come back.
No, they won't.
We will accept him back.
Yeah, I think he will.
And everything will be forgiven.
Whatever it is that I think Meghan wants, underlying,
we know
she hasn't succeeded in, and I think what
but
she's
it's sad, mate. But the thing is,
she might have wanted Harry. She might have had a little soft spot for Harry.
The thing is, this is what the wokeness has created. It's created a whirlwind of emotions.
But what the woke tend to do.
But you look at her situation, and you do feel sorry for her, and you should feel sorry for her, because she's feeling the need to have to reach out and perform,
to identify herself,
and look at me, I can do this. I mean, it's sad. I mean, why should someone have to put themselves through that position of having to prove themselves 24/7?
I think let's face it.
That is the question. That is what people need to answer themselves.
I think when you get the chance to marry a prince or princess in any
That's
situation,
it. You drop everything else,
Yes.
and you're in that family.
Yes, but
and she knew this. She knew it.
I think she probably thought she could. I'm really confident to think that she thought maybe she could use this as an opportunity to extend her presence, and I think it's backfired. And I think
Of course, it has done.
And I think because
it has done. She is screwed out big time.
And I think
mate.
because it's
Big
backfired, what she's done is she thought, right,
No,
I'm losing this battle.
No, she hasn't. She actually hasn't replied yet.
She hasn't replied yet, and
No.
she hasn't backfired yet.
No.
But maybe
She's screwed out, mate.
I think intuition's kicked in, and I think I would say in the next 4 weeks to a month to 2 months from now, I would say when you're watching this, might be old news by the time you're watching this, but when you watch this, you'll see this in 2 months, a month to 2 months time from now. I think maybe she might offer an apology. And all
No. It will be. There's an iceberg
ahead.
Honest, it will be something
full starboard
that is basically woke. That's what it will be. It will be something like, not an iceberg as such, but you know what I mean. It will be a situation that basically.
Well, I've already got
pushes.
I've already got this feeling, Graham, and to the viewers out there, I've already got this feeling that Meghan has got to a point where I do honestly and genuinely believe she's fighting a losing battle with whatever cause she is fighting.
I don't think she will ever get to her limit. She's
maybe not. She'll keep pushing, but I do think that the way she has responded to Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, it's some person that interviews people.
Yeah, interviewee. I've got a feeling the way
I don't know how you pronounce the name.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah or Ofra.
Ofra Winfrey.
Ofra.
We'll go with Ofra. So I'm gonna say that she
Oprah Winfrey, if I remember rightly.
Yes. So I'm gonna say that she. I don't know what I'm gonna say anymore.
Oh joy! I can't wait.
No, I'm gonna say.
Watch this back. It's gonna be.
I'm gonna say that she got to the point where she got to a stage where she thought she was succeeding in whatever it was that in her mind she was succeeding for, as evidently what marrying a prince wasn't enough. She's got to a point where she realises she's downward spiral. So what she's trying to do is trying to savour whatever she can, and in order to do that, she's using mental health as a reason to do it. Now, I'm not going to knock anybody with mental health, by the way, because I know how mental health works. I have experienced it, and I can say, Graham, that anybody that I understand that knows what mental health is about would rather come back, not forward, when it comes to exposing oneself to anything.
Yeah.
So I think she has used that, and I feel that's what upsets me the most, because there are real genuine people out there, Graham, that are on what we call, as you know, the breadline, that actually have
actually waiting there.
That are waiting there for a bit of luck.
You stated that that they're waiting for that situation,
and I find it disgusting.
Will come along, and
pick them up
and pick them up and support them and bring them back a couple of steps.
Yeah.
To move forward a couple of steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, I honestly feel I agree with you.
I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't suffer with mental health. She may well do, but to use that.
No, this is yet again the wokeness. The wokeness situation that we're in.
It's almost like this, Graham, isn't it? It's
everything is put on mental health.
I mean, it's almost like this, Graham.
Yeah.
It's almost like I've made a big mistake, but it's okay. Because I have mental health.
Yeah, because I'm stressed because I can't put up with doing this and doing that. Well, it was okay for people like 25 years ago, or 20 years ago. What? Yeah. What
I'm not saying
now,
Graham. You're not saying. Yeah, exactly. You're not saying, and neither am I.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I'm not saying, and neither of you, of course. We're not saying that when you have mental health, you don't go through a tough time, because my God, you do. And of course,
but it's not just that. It's not just that.
Yeah.
There's other situations that actually add on to whatever you're going through on the time, like personal situations. Like I have personally been through myself recently with my mother, who has sadly sadly passed away recently, and you know that's happened, and it's been difficult for me to cope with.
Yeah.
And I've spent an awful lot of time on that.
Yeah.
7 o'clock, but we were slightly late by about nearly 15 minutes.
It's 8 o'clock, isn't it? All the mics are working. Yeah, Grem.
And Ben's now going to take this as a start of the show, so you've got us possibly for about 7 hours. Oh joy!
Should we just start again? Yeah. Yeah, we've got all the what it was, Lee, and anybody that wants to know technical
He's
stuff.
found out.
It was desktop audio was up, so it was playing, but it wasn't playing out to us, was it? For some reason, I don't know. But I just turned down desktop audio, and now we've got our 3 microphones working again, which is fantastic news. So I think we are on a winner. It is definitely, most definitely a chicken dinner. I hope anybody that was watching, please come back. You haven't missed anything, have they?
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Ben&Grem Show. We are hopefully going to move on a bit now, aren't we, Mr. Ben?
No.
No.
No, I'm joking. Of course we are. Right, yeah, we are. Right, so here we are. So, right, where were we? Where did you get to? Because
we were on the subject of Harry and Meghan's situation with the monarchy.
Right.
Now, I think we've near enough cleared that up. If anyone has any questions, otherwise we're going to be here till 4 o'clock in the morning.
I think they're trying to decode our voices over this course of the time, where they're trying to understand, because you've been saying everything 4 times. I've been saying everything God knows how many times, so I repeat myself at the best of times.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you've heard me like 4 times, you've heard Ben like 16 times.
Yeah, that's a bit worrying, isn't it?
You poor bunch of individuals.
Well, anyway, we could move swiftly on to a... Actually, no, we can't move swiftly on, because we've still got stuff to discuss, Gwen.
Oh, we have done, yeah. Have to.
Yeah, I mean... I can tell you about a situation which I wasn't going to bring up. I'm kind of, in some ways, throwing myself under the bus, you could say, with this. But I'm going to do it because I can't help myself. So I'm going to do it. So I was at work. When was it? It's a confession, Graham. Do I need a vicar in this place right now?
Well,
do I need a father, a Father Ted?
I'll be your Father Ted. I've been to church many times.
Alright, you be my Father Ted.
I regularly go when I'm serving the ice cream.
Right. So anyhow, this is how it goes. It's not a story. Actually, yes, it is. Pull up a chair, get a coffee. Yeah. So basically, what happened was this. On this cold morning, 1 January. No, actually, I'll start again. Wasn't nothing like that. What happened was this. I was at work in this very quiet period. That's a story, isn't it? Yeah, it's a story. When I was reading the paper and I came across a story about Harry and Meghan. Now, for various reasons, I am not going to discuss any names in the story for various reasons, because I want to protect one's identities. And so I'm going to come along forward now, because I'm taking some time on this, and say that so I was scribbling away, call it a doodle, right, on the paper. And why did I do this? Well, the other week I was bored, again equally, and saw that somebody had drawn an outline of pen around a human being's body, you know, on the paper, and I just thought that looks like something worth doing. I mean, there's nothing happening.
Pass the board.
Pass the board. Yeah, exactly. And I do like drawing, Graham, but usually I like to draw things that aren't there to start with, because I like to become a bit of an artist at times. So anyhow, so I thought, yeah, I'll do this, and so I did so on Meghan Markle. And then I looked at it and I thought, it's not finished, Graham. So I then took myself towards writing troublemaker on her forehead. Right? Pushed the paper aside. I think cars were coming around by then, so I started working. I went into work the next day. Graham, you haven't fallen asleep yet?
Oh no, not yet. No.
No. And through a friend of mine, had shown me an image of a Facebook post that was put up, and it was of the very paper that was doodled. And much to my surprise, because after all, I know what I wrote and I know what I was thinking, right? And so I wrote troublemaker, and I didn't think, I mean, so what? She is. I mean, I think I can call her far worse. I think most people at this moment in time can call her far worse. But let's just say I thought that was probably a very diplomatic response to such a very difficult person. So anyway, but that's by the by. Somebody, however, wrote scumbag, Graham.
Well, that isn't acceptable.
That isn't acceptable. That is not acceptable. No. And I was shocked, because I thought, well, that's not my writing. So somebody obviously, like me, equally went, I'm bored. Oh, look. Yeah, she is a bit of trouble. And then went a little bit further with it. And
actually, no, I need to. It's not acceptable phrase to use, but in the heat of a moment, if someone is so emotionally attached to the monarchy, like for example, I am, you possibly would think, what a total.
Yeah.
And but then you have curb yourself. But if you're in a rush or you've got that anxious about it, then you're gonna you might write it down.
Well, that's why I put troublemaker
in that situation.
I put troublemaker because I thought, well, troublemaker is. I mean, what's that in any language? I mean, that's not offensive, is it? You're a troublemaker.
I suppose it depends really on who's going to take offence to it.
Well, the thing is, Graham, scumbag is probably a bit below the belt, but I think when you take the word troublemaker, that's a light way of saying you're a nightmare, basically, isn't it? But my point here is this. Now, the paper said far worse about her than I did, and I wasn't even asked. Right? That's neither here or there, right? Because nobody was offended by the paper article, yet the paper article put it quite clearly upon how they foresee everything going on. And so I thought troublemaker was a bit light-hearted. And so, yes, I think scumbag was a bit over the top. But my point is this: we are living a world now, aren't we, Graham, where and we talked about woke gens a few months ago, right? I mean, that's moved on now, hasn't it? And I think it's more significant nowadays. I think it's getting worse, isn't it? And you can't say anything anymore. You can't say anything about anyone. You can't say anything about anyone that has any tone of derogatory elements in it.
No, you can't. I mean,
regardless of what they've done,
I've tried myself,
or who they are.
If you have tried yourself, then I've tried to have conversations with people with a different view.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Yeah,
it's good to be able to exchange that in that sort of position, but it's crazy. It's difficult to do so, and I've tried my hardest to figure out why, and I can only come to my own personal conclusion. It's like they're in another reality.
I think people want to see what they want to see.
Yeah, I was having a discussion with you the other day.
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't I? And with regards to interpretations. Now everyone knows there's only ever one interpretation to something. But then you have a different group of people, affiliation or whatever they support or at the time, will somehow redesign the interpretation. That is the interpretation. So to fit their ideology. Yeah,
and that happens a lot, I think, in most things. I think that's what happens, you see. I think people do. They kind of want to believe in how they want it to be, so they believe in their own thinking, although there's no science behind it. And actually, because enough of you think like that, it's the way you are thinking, it's the way it is. And maybe we're the crazy ones because we don't see it.
I mean, I put a Facebook post up the other day in regards to it, and I didn't get much response from it, which I suppose I'm pretty glad about, because at the moment I couldn't be dealing with any sort of unnecessary injections of interaction with people that just can't be bothered to hear another person's point of view.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have to say, I think it's difficult nowadays. I think it's even worse than it I think ever has been. I think it's got to a point now where people might have an opinion on something, but actually it's best not shared because it will offend, regardless of your opinion. It will offend. You're best not to have an opinion at all. And I think in reality we want people to go about our lives ruling us and in some form dictating to us without any barriers.
The thing is, with these individuals, you know, of the woke side attitude, if you would like to say, they believe they've won the situation. No, hello, you haven't won it. You know, the majority of people are just zipping themselves because they are probably just fed up with actually listening and trying to interact and give you certain facts.
Yeah. Well, actually, Graham, I want to pick up on this because I mean, what I've found is we have come into a generation now, I think, where you know you've got your social media, the internet has taken everyone by storm, hasn't it? So more to the point nowadays, where back in our day when we were kids, I think it's fair to say we didn't have those things. So we went out on our push bikes. We didn't really Facebook or a DM message or you know whatever you want to call it. But nowadays everything is done by social media, and it's almost like we build up our friendships by social media. And what I think is quite disturbing actually, and it's something that I've discovered in the course of the last 6 months. I mean, I've caused quite a few rifts with some of the opinions I've had, and I am quite an opinionated person, but I believe, somebody who also is open to opinion and believe that actually I want to see both sides. I always try to see where I'm going. I always try to psychoanalyse any situation I'm going to bring out publicly, simply because I've already done that thinking, so that's why I've come to that point. However, I'm always willing to listen to others, or at least I think I am. And
you do your best, like
yeah, of course,
I do my best. But you're only human.
Yeah,
you can only take so much.
But what I've discovered over the course of the last 6 months is more and more people base their livelihoods and friendships around social media. And maybe that's a way that we've gone because of COVID or anything, but the amount of people that don't even look at me now because of a thing that I've said on Facebook, it's madness. They've taken me off Facebook. They won't even say morning to you or evening simply because they didn't like something you said on Facebook media. Whereas in reality, life doesn't exist like that because, you know, like me, for example, I can be a keyboard warrior, Graham. But when I call myself a keyboard warrior, I'm also happy to talk about that outside of Facebook because I'm comfortable with what I'm saying. Whereas the general keyboard warrior will say these things on social media and never say it again.
I agree with you. It's the erasing of what you would call, yet again I'll go back to interpretations. The interpretation of being able to voice your view on something, your free speech, is now being turned. It's been turned back. It's been twisted. It's been changed into something. You can't do this. You can't do that. You know, oh, that's not acceptable. No, that's not free speech. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's you know, we should be able to speak what we need to, within reason, of course. To do. No one wants to be shouted at. No one wants strong words. No one wants to be disrespected in a way like as some certain individual recently has done to our head of state, for example. No one needs to hear that and experience that because it's not acceptable.
No, it's not. And Graham, I want to say as well, I think the damage is actually social media. I think a lot of things nowadays, when
they've been allowed to take control. They've been allowed to put across their agenda, which has been pushed by others with
connectivity, social media,
and it's all to do with how they wish the world to be seen,
as opposed to the way it is.
Not in the future, but now.
Yeah.
What is wrong with these people? You cannot change something in a split second. It takes time.
But I've also understood, it's certainly being politicians, Lee was talking about that just now actually, I'll come to that in a moment, Lee, but I've always also understood that, take politicians. Politicians can use the internet for a very good cause. Talk of Nigel Farage and the elements around Brexit and the push to get us out of the European Union. Now that had traction and that gained control and support. But it can also work negatively. And I think sometimes, others that might believe in the woke and society and believe in that way of life would probably think I'm the one that's crazy for saying what I'm saying. But the point is that it's these people, you and I in the real world, don't usually come across these people of woke, do we? In the place of work, down the road.
Hardly at all.
You never do. It's almost like it's a phantom thing. It's almost like it's a thing that's been put into our minds to believe that that's the way things should be.
I believe they're out there. I've just remembered the post that I put on Facebook earlier, and I couldn't remember it totally.
Yeah.
I basically placed up a post stating that to do with the percentages that I felt that were the likelihood of wokeness and
wokeness
and normality. The majority of the world's population, possibly 80%, are just zipping their mouths to it.
Yeah.
But these individuals, which are an extreme minority of individuals, are trying to push their agenda, their view, their outlook on everyone else.
And they do it with numbers, don't they? It's like, I was talking to somebody recently who said actually about an opinion I had on Facebook. They said it's like lynch mob, and I said yes, it is in a way, because that's what they do. You see, they see someone and they attack. And they attack, but they might not even agree with this person who's attacking you, but they do because it's like we move in numbers. And it's like wolves, isn't it? They pack together and they go, oh, that's disgusting. And next thing you know, you get someone almost threatening to kill you. I mean, not entirely, but to that point, you think, wow, that's strong. And yet, for a fact that individual would not say that to you on the street. And that's the thing. You get these people that talk like this, but actually in the real world, they don't even agree with what they're saying. Majority of these people. I mean, the amount of people I know that I would probably assume voted different to me, I would have this conversation with them and we would sound similar. That's the ironic thing.
On a lot
but
of,
on a social media
topics,
platform, but on a social media platform, they couldn't be any further from the left, from the right. They are right on that left side. You wouldn't believe. They are momentum movement more than anything. So it's like. It's strange how social media has. It's almost like a false personality in some cases. It's like
they've basically been given too much of a leash. It should never have happened in the first place. It shouldn't. It should have been policed from the word go. I mean, yet again, it's a stupidity of handling of previous governments.
I don't see. It's difficult to police it, isn't it? Because we say policing, but let's say policing. But is it wrong to talk about these things publicly? Well, in a way, it's like democracy, isn't it? So technically, what are they doing wrong by talking in such a way? Not so much anything wrong, because it's free speech, isn't it?
No, it's wrong because the owners of like your Facebook, your Twitter, etc., and even Instagram. Like the other day, yesterday, in fact.
Yeah.
I had notifications come through when I opened up my Twitter. Would you like to follow? Would you like to follow? Would you like to follow? And for Winfrey. Do you know what I mean? And literally, it was literally. I'm sorry, being political here. Left. It was literally. I mean, it's just the agenda that they're pushing all the time.
Yeah, I think I never watched the interview, Graham, but I will say that it did appear to me, and it certainly did by others that I had spoken to who had said that they had seen it, had said that the conversations were very constructed, to the point being that actually Oprah Winfrey would not have maybe have said the things that she had said if she maybe was able to have loosened the leash. It would appear to me as if almost like she were spoken to maybe prior to the interview, which would make sense because everybody has an agent of some form or another. There's always somebody, such as a producer or someone that wants certain things said or not said.
Exactly. I mean, it happened with the Princess Diana.
But it was
interview,
weak, wasn't it?
With the Princess Diana interview, it happened.
Yeah.
That famous interview. On a couple of questions, the cameras were stopped rolling, and such and such was said, and rolled again, and then she replied. But that came out recently, wasn't it? In the last 4 or 5 weeks. That was.
And I think that's the point here, Graham. It's, you get to a point where censorship, isn't it, almost? I mean, but
well, bad news sells, good news does not. It's unless it's something to seriously celebrate, you know what I mean? But
yeah. I've said this all over, Lee says, and over. Now we live in a reactionary society. Do something disagreeable and the reaction is instant disapproval. There are no balance or joined up thinking. Absolutely. And I think we said this before, haven't we, Lee? Thank you for your point, because actually Graham, hasn't he? I mean, we've had this conversation on a previous episode of Ben and Graham, and we always seem to stumble on these subjects, but it's right. Yeah, there is no joined up thinking, and I think that's where things are going wrong.
People have lost the ability to not. Well, I call it thinking out the box. I mean is being thinking.
I think people are too afraid of being disliked. I think what it is people don't like maybe.
But it's got like that because it's been allowed to get like that. Yeah. But you can't blame, and I can't personally blame either. People that do that. Because I do it myself.
Oh no,
I'm the same.
No, but I'm one of these sort of people that I'll try. Sometimes, and people that know me will know that I will say something without actually thinking about it. All right, and then I will realise just how silly I sound. I get that, and I don't know if we all have those moments, but I do occasionally. And of course, when I do, I kind of know what I've said afterwards, and then reflect on it. Now, but when I have a deep conversation with somebody on any particular subject, whether however detailed or however touchy that subject may be, I tend to still continue because I don't go into that conversation thinking whatever happens at the end of this conversation you're going to like me or dislike me. I don't have that mentality. And actually, if I ever thought that somebody would then think, oh actually I'm never going to speak to you anymore because I'm appalled by what you said, then actually they didn't mean anything to you in the first place. Because again, it's just nonsense. It's nonsense. Why would people fall out with somebody over an opinion? I don't understand it myself. I don't understand it because actually you'll find you've got more in common about many things. You might have disagreed on this one thing.
It comes back to what we discussed earlier about free speech.
But this is what science.
Yeah, but free speech has been attacked on what is actually free speech.
Yeah.
Yes, I said earlier about within reason what you say. It's not acceptable.
I would never not say something because of the consequences of people disliking me. Let's just say that for a second, right? So I don't go into any conversation and think, oh, if I say that, people are going to be really shocked. I don't, because I don't think that means anything. It's nonsense. I don't think like that.
But the thing is, everyone is in an individual. We all have our own minds. No one. I don't even need to say this to anyone. If we have a feeling, we should be able to, especially to our own families and family members, we should be able to, and friends and close friends, we should be able to express that.
Yeah.
Okay, some of it they might not like. Most of it they might not like any of it. But it's accepted to be listened to because it's within that circle. But to basically turn on someone and ignore them and just totally just make them feel.
It's a circle, same as a bubble.
It's ridiculous. It shows the other person in being. Well, I feel quite nasty, in a way.
You do?
Yeah, if they're willing to not listen and to allow you or someone, not just you, but anyone to be able to freely say something, as long as it's not. It depends on the situation. It depends on what's been said and the words and context and the phrases, the strength and the tone, etc.
Anyhow,
it depends.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that this individual that going back to this post about what was said on Facebook, right? And again, I didn't see it, or at least the person I think that put it up there that I mentioned no names, of course, of. And there's no hard feelings, by the way. If you ever do get to see this, and you ever get to know that I know that you said it, don't worry. I still think you're good fun to work with, and that will remain, and there's no hard feelings. But I will say this, the individuals, not this person that wrote the post, but the individuals that wrote on the post about it, I mean, I couldn't help but laugh. One woman said, if I remember rightly, I can't quote word for word, but said, I think this needs to go to management and I think they need to be disciplined. Right. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Now let me just put another thing into context about this, right? Because do you remember the days when we worked? You may not have done, Graham, and maybe some of you on the chat that might have know where I'm coming from. When blokes work in a factory, things get said. That's all I'm going to say. Now I'm not saying that I work in a factory, but what I will say is the conversations that are had, regardless of who have them, are absolutely beyond outrageous. I can't even make me wince at times. But the thing is, Graham, I don't care. It doesn't matter, because I'm only there to earn money. I'm there to do my job. I'm there to go home, and I'm not there to get offended by somebody I don't even care about. When I say that, I mean I don't care about them. I mean I would care about them if something was wrong with them. I would care about them if I had to care about them. My point being is, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. So what? You know, so why am I going to lose sleep over that? Why do I want to see that person come to harm because I disagree with what they said? It makes no sense. Anyway, but it does make sense because these people are doing it, and I can't understand them. So you might not agree with somebody, but the point being, in regards to whether you agree with them or not, who cares? I mean, really, do you wake up in the morning and say, if I don't have a conversation about Meghan Markle today, I'm gonna drink myself to death? I mean, what is wrong with people, Gwen? I just don't understand people. Now, like I said, I will not have any umbrage against this person because actually, I can say she at least, but she's a great laugh to work with, great member of the company, and
she's very supportive.
Yeah, she's great fun.
She's all the positive
and honestly and
things.
truthfully, I really don't think she cares either. But I think, and I'm going to say, it was probably quiet on her shift too, and she was just about as bored as I was. And I think if it had have been a different day, it probably wouldn't have even got noted. And anyway, so moving on from there, Graham, we have a producer note. Oh, hang on, let's move over a little bit, shall we?
That's very interesting.
Don't know what it said.
Is that what I think? Okay. If you wrote troublemaker on Hitler,
Yes.
nothing would be said.
Oh, I wonder why. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yes.
Do you know what though? What I don't understand about people that claim they've got depression, and I will say I know what it feels like, firstly, before I go further on this, but if somebody's got depression, in my honest and truthful opinion, they want to avoid controversy. If someone's experienced depression, they don't want to go anywhere near what possibly got them in that state in the first place. Meghan, on the other hand, may or may not have had depression. My opinion on her, knowing how it feels to have depression, I'm sorry, that is like me saying to you, Graham, I'm going to be really nasty to you and I'm going to have everybody hate me, but you can't hate me because I've got a sad story to tell. I have depression, or I had depression. Now that's not going to cut it.
It's not appropriate.
It's not appropriate because you may have had depression, but you don't lose your mind.
You're still in control.
You're still in control of what you're saying.
And you should be in control enough
Yeah.
to be able to stop it from getting too negative.
Yeah, and having had experienced depression, I will say, actually, you're better off hiding away than actually coming out to the world, by the way, and making a big song and dance about your feelings and how you feel and all the rest of it. I'm sorry, people do talk about depression, I get it, but there's too much of the play on words thing here. For me.
With Meghan though, she's being reasonably in the limelight and filming for
Absolutely.
sometimes up to 7-8 hours a day with Suits, the programme Suits. I did watch 2 episodes of that actually, very good, and I thought she was quite okay. She really done well in it.
She's a good actor.
Yeah. Well, within reason.
Literally.
Within the show, I wouldn't say she's one of the best actresses because she's still at the early stages of her career. Do you know what I mean? But she'll get there. But it's the fact that maybe when she left, obviously Suits, and then the Prince Harry and her were able to make more of their relationship public. She lost all that interaction, all that that thrust of excitement, etc., etc., to do with like filming and planning and reading scripts and so on, and that all went out the window, and you know, so there's some support there.
But you say that, I had a similar. Pardon me, guys. That tonic's getting to me. I will say that this very conversation actually extended to one member of the public who I know, who had said this. I said about Meghan, I said, I told them the story about this whole troublemaker thing, right? And they said, well, she is an actor, as if I didn't know that. But and I'm thinking, well, where are you going with that? And what he was getting at was the way she is being. Well, she's an actor. You have to accept it. So, is that okay then, just to actually say, well, she's doing it because she can, because she's good at it? So actually, it's all a big front. Is that what he's saying? Maybe it is. Maybe.
I think it's just possibly Meghan's way of protecting herself to do with the likelihood of depression, as she states she has.
Or do you think it's because
she wants to get back, Ben? I feel she wants to get back into the saddle of proper filming, getting in there.
Maybe she does.
You know, and she misses it. She misses.
You don't think it's got anything to do with the fact that she's gone into a realm of a world where she is now small fry, and it's too big for her?
No, she would not have gone into that environment without being informed first.
Oh, of course, somebody would have said to her.
Knew Harry would have obviously.
Well, she didn't even realise she had to curtsy to the Queen, for crying.
That is ridiculous. I'm sorry. That is one bit of a clip that I saw on this Morning Britain.
Who's she trying to fool with that?
That's not just ridiculous.
How is she doing
Everyone knows that. And if there's anyone out there that doesn't know that, then oh.
Well, this is my point, but she's not exactly a silly lady, is she?
No, it's stuff like that doesn't support her case.
I mean, you can't even say she had depression, so that's why she said it. I mean, you don't know.
No, it looks like it's. This is why I stated that it's more on the mental health side to do with missing something, missing the attachment of acting, and she's happened to possibly create an avenue to get back into that direction, and so.
And hoping that the public could see her as some form of hero.
No way, never.
Maybe that was what she was trying for, though.
Yeah, but it's
a sob story, isn't it?
It's not going to work. Not. The British public, majority of us, I will say, do not like to be pushed about.
No, well, I mean, I wish all the best. I mean, I don't know her personally, and
I do as well.
I don't have anything against her. I don't have anything against someone I've never met before, even if I don't agree with her. I wouldn't not talk to her if she walked up to me simply because I don't agree with her, because that's what seems to be happening these days with people. It's like, oh, I don't agree with you anymore. Oh, I'm disgusted to know you, one person once said. They are disgusted to know me. But the funniest thing was, and I have to say this, Glenn, there's one person that said to me once on social media, I'm disgusted to know you. I had never once ever met in my whole entirety of 36 years of life.
Was you in council at the time?
No. This was a few months ago, and I thought, so you've sat there and thought about what you've just said, and it didn't occur to you that we've never once met. I had to remind her of this, by the way, because I thought, well, why would you be ashamed to know me if you don't even know me? Now, this is my point I'm saying here, is by people living this fantasy life on social media, that they know people because they've got them as a friend, but yet actually they've never met them before, but because that one person said something they happen to not agree with. I mean, me and you are good friends, I'd say, Graham. We're on the Ben&Grem Show, but you will disagree with me about something. I am not going to take you off Facebook.
Well,
I don't understand.
We've had our spats.
It's 2021, Graham.
We've had our disagreements. Me and Ben have, and got extremely heated last summer time.
Yeah.
And you know, things nearly dispersed. But you know, it was all rectified, and you know. Friends, if you're a friend and you're no proper friend, you find a way, don't you?
I think the truth is that I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound it could sound somewhat ignorant actually, but I don't mean to sound ignorant to any of you if you're listening. Regardless of one's IQ, you can put something up on Facebook, right? Or social media. Let's just say social media. I'm not picking on Facebook because it happens on social media, right? So you put something up on social media which has a point or a narrative, right? But not everybody will see it the same way, understandably. Some people might not even understand what you're saying, but they'll pick a couple of words out and think that's really bad. And they'll have an opinion about it. And 9 times out of 10, I'll find that even if somebody disagrees with me about something, they'll go talk about something else. And I'm like, hang on a minute, we're off the subject now. My post was about this.
Yeah,
So-
your post will be about something, and
Yeah.
they will actually, yet again, interpret. They will pull something from it.
Yeah,
to
to
use.
what they can use that they feel they can fight an argument with, and then they'll use that, and then you'll think 20 comments later,
What the
well,
hell?
that post was got
Yeah.
nothing to do with that. So now we're not talking about, now we're falling out about this, which you started. But actually, it's got nothing to do with my
And you
post.
question them about it, and then you just get a load of.
No. I
But you
don't even
just don't go
I don't
down
even get a
there.
chance to do that because
No.
they block you. I mean,
No.
honestly, this is the world of social media 2021.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, man and woman, ape or cat, the world has gone mad. Social media has become the epicenter of stupidity.
It certainly has.
Beyond belief. I mean, everybody likes a picture or two, don't they? We love looking at the sunrise. That's great. Let's use that. We love talking to your mates about how happy you are that your favourite team scored in the weekend's match. Yeah, understood. But when you talk about something slightly, I think when you talk about something that has to enable a brain to work, I'll say that, people go crazy, and it's like, how dare you say such a thing? As if almost like you're not worthy enough of your own opinion, so they lynch you. It's like, hang on a minute, look, just because you've had an argument with your next door neighbour doesn't mean to say you can take it out on me on social media 5 minutes later. That's the reason for why you've had a go at me, because I was on your firing line. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's got nothing to do with you or me or anybody else or our opinions. It's just people. And so actually I've had a rather peaceful life, Grem, because I've actually come off social media. I still use Facebook Messenger, Grem, but I don't have to see this nonsense anymore. I tell you what, I broke the mould. It took a while. I thought about this the other year.
I think a lot of people will end up
Yeah.
following suit with it, mate.
Well, Grem,
it's getting ridiculous. It's all being pushed. Or one agenda is being totally pushed
Cheers.
throughout the whole of social media, and we've been there. We don't want to discuss that anymore this evening.
We don't, no, but just to say there is alternatives, and people are similarly going the same way as to my way of thinking, I think, not just my way, the way of thinking, and are taking themselves off social media and going into another type of form of social media, which
Yes.
is more free speech. And actually,
It's
what's it called, Graham?
It's called Retalk.
Okay. And what's Retalk about?
Basically, without the, if you'd like to say, wokeness. So you won't have the virtual signalling and everything else that is shoved down your throat 24/7 by the media. So it's free. It's proper free speech. Proper free speech.
I mean, it hasn't got the leverage yet, has it? I mean, it's like all things. I mean, how long did it take for Facebook to really get going? I mean, it was a while, but
It's
and then it
been-
hit.
I think it's been going for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now.
Yeah. So,
Like that.
but that's the same with Facebook. I remember when Facebook first came out, and I remember at a friend's house, I opened up an account expecting nothing of it, and I think I didn't even use it for about 6 to 8 months until I found that everybody was using it, and then I went back on it. So it will take time, but I think when it does, it could be a replacement. Fair to say. I mean, we've also
I think it will take off.
yeah, I think,
Only because of this of the
of the
fact-
woke gen.
Well,
Yes.
of the woke germ, was that the germ?
Germ.
No, germ
Gen.
sounds better.
Gen.
Of the woke germ.
It's not a virus, Gwen. Well, I suppose it could
No, well, it is, isn't it?
be. Yeah.
It's a man-made virus.
Yeah.
You know, being planted into one person and it's spread throughout the whole nation.
Oh.
You've got to do this. You've got to do that.
I gotta have to tell you that Lee's had lots to say, and we've completely ignored you, Lee.
Yeah, we'll get there in a moment.
All right. Well, I haven't forgotten.
Well, I was get there now because
Right, let's get on to that, shall we? So we're over on the right camera because we don't want to be talking to. We don't want to be talking to you looking over there. So I can't say anything because I've got the technology right in front of my vision.
but I can.
Can you?
Yes,
You can see?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've got 2 eyes.
Go on in. Pick up from where you want, mate. Grem. He does look good. He did say earlier, actually, he did say about being sharp. Graham.
Yeah, at least, yeah, saying that we're looking sharp. Yes, we thought we'd make a little bit of an effort of our return after many months. Well, we have had a couple of attempts to try and return, but situations have developed, and it's not been possible. Next question from Lee as well. There's a fundamental restructuring taking place in the young. Speak of our old generations who did military service, who knew to behave in the family and learned to respect each other. It's very true. It's respect as well. I mean, getting back to we're here, aren't we? Getting back to the situation with Meghan Markle, Harry, and the royal family. Respect. Where's the respect?
Yeah, good point, Lee. Yeah, where is the respect? I mean,
it's not good.
There is no respect. I mean, you can only look at youngsters these days, and they swear at police, and they carry on the way they do. And actually, that brings me to another point in a minute. But they're really, I remember the day where you would hear police sirens because you were playing on some school roof, and you would leg it. Not anymore.
Yes, you're made to feel not scared of the police, but respecting them in the
you
way
you were up for a clip round the ear.
You get out of the way, get home.
Yeah. You knew you were going to get a clip round the ear from
there was some fear there. There was like a positive fear, if you'd like to say.
Yeah.
But
you knew you did wrong. There was an element of risk.
But you also knew at the same time they're there to protect.
Yeah. And you knew that you were doing wrong, and that's why you got out there quick. But nowadays, there is no right or wrong anymore. It seems with the younger generation, it seems that they've lost that respect. And I'll give you an example. There was a story in the news recently where you may have heard this, Graham, and some of the viewers. There was a story where a young lad who was in a skate park, I don't know where, and Canterbury. I was going to say that place in Essex. But it's not.
Piccadilly. Not Piccadilly.
That's what I did in my head.
Piccadilly.
Billericay. I actually did that in my head, what you just done. And I thought, I ain't saying that. Well done.
Bickery.
Yeah, that place in Bickery, Essex. No, it wasn't. It was in Canterbury. Funny enough, it was quite local to where we are, Graham, anyway.
No, quite close.
Very close, actually. Anyhow, what happened was, is there has been an inquiry put forward, an investigation on the conduct of the police officers dealing of the situation, because now the story has it, the police officer requested the young lad to give him the address of his residency. The child, son, boy, young lad, teenager, he refused, right? So I don't quite know how we go from there, because obviously, okay, so the police then realises he's got a terror on his hands, a little nipper. So something's happened.
It's actually what people aren't looking at, mate, is the police officer has gone into safeguarding the individual. That's what the police officer has gone and done.
Well, because he had restrained this young lad, however young, I don't know. Now there's an inquiry. Now this is what I can't get, and we wrote this down as a topic, Grim, didn't we? And how did it go? Hey, children, leave those police alone. Yes, because they're there to look after you. They're not there to cause trouble. All right, you might be there to cause trouble. They're not. So don't have a go.
I mean, the attitude that the younger generation have towards the police force now is you've only got to look at the likes of the recent protests. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To do around the United Kingdom and around the world, to do with not just the BLM movement, but other organisations as well, and the negativity that is actually thrown towards the police is just unacceptable. If we had no police force, what do you think is likely to happen before the army's brought in? Do you know, the military? It's the way it is, but people just don't seem to understand.
No, I don't. And this is what it's upsetting, because, like I said, the police have got far more far more other things to have to deal with without having to have an issue around potentially losing their job over some little whippersnapper getting a little bit lippy.
Exactly. I mean that 15, probably not even 20 minutes, but it might even been half an hour of trying to talk the child round to disclosing his home address, for example. It was wasted. Who knows? Someone could have been like dying a few blocks away, or
could have been attacked.
It'll be mugged or something, all because of that. As you know, the young whippersnapper.
I hope,
You know?
yeah, exactly, Graham. So I hope that the police officer in question, based on the story as was the happening. I hope he becomes promoted or something, or otherwise it gets wiped off because it's nonsense.
It's a shame that the police now have to have all their on-street work actually recorded. They have like a constant videoing going on, but it's sad that has had to happen. But in this situation, it's.
I think
it's
the issue.
appropriate.
I think there's an institutional. I like that word, institutional, existensive. I know I'm sounding like There was an officer once said to me that he was in a situation where he was at a nightclub. This was some while ago now, and he was under the view of needing to fire his stun gun at an individual because they were acting. Well, let's just say they were acting out. They were acting irresponsibly, and he had to stop in his tracks because he realised just how much paperwork was involved. And I'm not being funny, Graham, but I mean, I understand health and safety to a point. I mean, even that's gone crazy today.
Yeah.
But hang on a minute. Are they there to serve and protect, or are they there to become an administrator? There should be other people doing that job. I mean, why should they have to justify their actions when actually they've been trusted to protect and serve in the first place? They have passed all the tests.
It's quite concerning, really.
And they've got to justify
that the officer decided to think like that because it's part of his job paperwork.
Well, this is what I mean. He's, at the end of the day,
it's not appropriate.
It's fight or flight, as they say, isn't it? And the police officer hasn't really got that choice.
We go through stages of de-escalating the situation.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may get towards the final stage of de-escalation. Everything's going well, but an outside factor might come.
But why should that police officer have to explain himself?
Set it back to the beginning again.
The fact is, it seems like the people of today have got this negative over police, right? So a police officer turns up, or she or he, they turn up at a situation, an incident, where evidently they're there for a reason, right? They wouldn't be there otherwise. So they've been called to a scene, right? They've got this bloke. He's clearly had far too much to drink. He's swinging around. He's vicious in the sense of his words. And he's gone towards the police officer. The first thing the police officer's going to do it's his life, right? At the end of the day, he's got a life outside work as well. So at the end of the day, he's going to use the tools of which has been given to him. If he had a stun gun or an asp, then he's been given them for a reason. He should never have to then justify his reason for using it. Now, if he's level-headed, and presumably they've been through the rigorous tests. There is no reason for why, in my opinion, there should be any police officer having to justify their actions on the course of duty. It makes no sense at all. Now, okay, I understand there was a case, wasn't there, in America, George Floyd. Now, I think fair to say, there has to be some repercussions over certain incidences based on certain activity. Yes, I agree. But I think somebody who had not even fired the stun gun had to work out whether it was reasonable for him to do so because he was in fear of his job is crazy. And that's where we're at this day and age. You can't say anything in public anymore because you're afraid you might offend someone. You can't do your job as a police officer when actually once before I remember being sworn at by a police officer.
And clipped round a year.
Well, not clipped, but I remember I'd been sworn at by a police officer. I was offended, but hang on a minute, what am I going to do about it? It's a police officer. What, am I going to have a go at him, am I? He's going to end up putting me in the nick. Right, so the point is, it's like, just suck it up. What's wrong with these people today? He swore at me, and then because I answered back to him. And I did answer back to him because I remember what happened was I took a route to a customs office. They were site police to an area I used to work, right? So I left the building, locked up the office. I went across the road to deliver my paperwork to the customs office. I went round the back of the building, which is like a shortcut. Now, everybody done it. It wasn't like you know. But I used my car. It wasn't a staff car or anything like that. So it was late at night as well. It must have been about 11:30 at night. So I've done this. I've gone round to the customs office, and I knew he was watching me. You know when you know that something's up. So I knew he was watching me, and I thought, well, I'm allowed to do this. There's nothing to say I can't, so I'm going to do it anyway. So I did it, and I didn't bat an eyelid. But he came behind me, but he parked up, so he was obviously waiting for me to come back. So I've gone into the customs office, did what I needed to do, and then I've gone back out. And as I've gone back out, he's pulled in front of me and stopped my vehicle. Now at this point in time, I remember you remember the Renault Clios, the RN Renault Clios. So I had a Renault Clio, and he asked me to get out of the vehicle, and he says, "What's your purpose of being around here?" And I said, "Well, I work in this building. I'm just clocking off. I'm just taking my paperwork to the customs office, and I'm going home." "Well, why did you come around this way? Why did you go around this roundabout so quick?" That's what he said. I thought, I didn't go around the roundabout so quick. I'm thinking he's obviously showing off. Like, anyway, there's a young girl with him, but that's neither here nor there. I knew what he was up to. Well, at least I think I did. But no, anyway, so he seemed a bit cocksure of himself. You know what I mean? It's the language he was using, and I realised he was. In my head, I'm thinking you're just showing off. You've got no reason to stop me. To make it look like, in this instance, that he had a purpose, he was looking around my car. I'm thinking he's just looking for things to find now. He's obviously bored. You know, port police, and he was looking around my tyres, and they were fine. He had nothing to do, and then he said to me, "Go on, then off you go. You better go home." And he kept me for a good 15 minutes looking around the car, and he was talking to this police officer, this female officer, and then they both got in the car and drove off. I'm thinking, you knew full well, sir, that there was nothing wrong, nothing going on here. Now I could have dealt with that in different ways.
Round the back.
Yeah, they followed me, but there's nothing going on, Graham. Honestly, it was like a ghost town. I mean, it was late at night. I was working, and anyway, so this guy, he pulled me over, and then he left again, and then he resumed back to where he originally was when I first went across to the customs office. So he was looking for something to do. Fair enough. The point being is, I could have dealt with that in two different ways. I dealt with it the way I did, and he let me go, and I went home, and that was the end of it. Even though I probably could have said something to him based on the fact that he swore at me, and I think it was unduly. But there again, he was, in my head, I thought he was just showing off, and he was. He was showing off.
Isn't those offices after the gates?
No, they're port police. I'm just circling. I was watching the area. Now he was probably right in thinking, what's he doing around there? He probably didn't know.
I don't know if he's in his jurisdiction still.
Well, this is what I mean. I don't know.
I don't think he was, because if he, you know, when we've been there before, gone in.
Yeah.
That's the building you want about, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not that's Kent Police.
Well, there you have it. But anyhow, so
it's what's after that the entrance is.
But my point is this: of today's generation, Graham. Now that was then, and I could have taken offence to him swearing at me. I don't think it was necessary that he did that. I knew that. He knew that. He was just being a show off. I'm sure of it, because there was a young woman with him, and he was just showing off. You know. So I just went along with it. Mm-hmm. I didn't answer back. I knew that they could have done something if they needed to do something. I didn't want them to find something. I just kept my mouth shut, let him get on with it. And he had his 5 minutes of fun, and then I went home. Simple as that. But on the day of today, of this general day, of this general time,
how did he speak though? Was it sort of like?
It wasn't very authoritative. It was more like it was just a bit cavalier, like kind of.
I reckon
he was showing off.
I reckon he was probably doing so maybe to induct the other person.
Maybe, but it just seemed, like I say, long or short.
They're normally working.
They'd work in twos. Well, they did on this occasion. But no, long or short of it was, nothing happened. I got sent home. Well, I was going home anyway. He was happy for me to go home, and nothing happened. Now, if I had have been maybe someone of today's generation, I would have said something. I had something to say. He would have then acted upon that, and then am I then wrong to say that he done so? I mean, no, I wouldn't be. I don't think I would be. If you cause animosity with a police officer, you've got to expect repercussions, right?
Yes, you need to be polite back. You need to be reasonably accepting, but then you do need to be able to protect yourself as well with whatever you need to say, because it may be wrong.
Yeah, of course. Of course. We have got to the point where
we've got a few pointless bits. Should we play our tune?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, shall we? Let's do it.
Pointless bits.
Pointless news. Yeah, Lee, thanks again for sticking around.
They'd give you a beating if you took that one. I like that one.
Probably true, isn't it?
Don't be silly. Police were scary. Yes, they were back
They
in
were,
the day.
yeah, but they almost.
But we had like a fear. As I said, like it was like I call it a positive fear, but it's not really a such thing, is there? But you know that we had a fear for the police, but we also respected and knew that they would protect us.
I think also there's an element. I think there's an element of this, right? Is that when you get pulled over by a police officer, you know in your head if you've done something wrong or not. Naturally, you know. If you're speeding, you know.
Even when I'm driving about now, anyone, you know, I'm driving about and I've had my youngest in the car with me, and I'm, oh no, there's a police car.
But that's a natural feeling. But my point, Graham, is this: is that if you know you've done something wrong and the police officer wants a word, you know what he's going to say. So why play the fool? I mean, I don't know. Everyone's different, and I'll give you an example. I actually was speeding once. Some years ago, I was late for work. Yeah, and I was on the way to Elsham, and I got called up. I got pulled over at 4:30 in the morning, driving 80 on a 40.
Oh my God! How did you get out of that?
Up Jubilee Way.
Oh my no!
But this is when I had my little sport car. You remember the Mitsubishi FTO I had?
Yeah.
Well, I had this, and my absolute goal and intention was to get to work as quickly as I could, and I mean as quickly as I could, because I needed to be there on time. I had to be there on time, and I was running late. And I saw the police car on the brow of Aycliffe.
Did you wave at him as you went past?
No, because I had already gone further than that. I was literally right. So I was coming up to the bottom of. I was coming up. I couldn't believe this. Right, I actually asked him about this, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I was actually coming up to Jubilee Way. Right, the sea was to the right of me. There was nothing on the road. Right, so I was able to do this, although I shouldn't have done it. And then right in my rear view mirror, I saw a police car coming over the brow of Aycliffe. Right, so now bearing in mind he was a long way coming towards me, but he was a long way away. And this is when they had the roundabouts I had. So they clocked me.
How did they catch up with you?
They must have seen me enter that road quickly from York Street, right? And that's all I can think of. And when I realised it was police, I saw blue lights, and that was from a long way away. I put my foot down. I carried on to going. I thought I'll get away.
No,
I did. I thought I'll get away from them. I'm right at the bottom of. Jubilee Way. There's no way they can catch me. And so I put my foot down in my FTO. The thing's screaming, and I've just gone a little bit faster. I think I was doing about 85 by then, 90. And I've gone to the bottom of it. And as I've gone to the bottom of Jubilee Way, I could not believe that this particular car. Now I think it was only a Ford Fiesta. What the hell this thing had in the bonnet?
Souped it up.
I have no. And this thing was behind me before I could say gone. I mean, before I could even. And so I pulled over. He's told me to pull over. So I pulled over, and I knew straight away. I've had it. I actually did think that's it. Time's up. I've had it. My car's gone. My license is gone. I'm not getting to work. This is doomsday. And he got out of the car and he came over to me and he said, how fast do you think you're going? And all I said to him was, too fast. He said, oh, so you are aware of the fact you were speeding? I said, yes. And he went, why didn't you slow down when you saw the lights? And presumably he thought I'd seen them. And I said to him, I said, I just panicked. And he said, he said, where are you off to? And I told him, I said, I'm on the way to work. He asked me where I was going. I told him where I was going, exactly. I told him where I lived. I was quite amicable with him. I mean, I was like a rabbit caught in the headlights. I had nothing to say. And he was waffling away about something. He was repeating himself a few times. Then he said, right, you better go then. He said, you're getting off scot-free on this occasion. I know what this car is. I've got it in my head. It will be noted. And if I ever see it driving this way again, in this area, or any area, he said, you'll lose it and you'll have your licence taken away from you. He said, you're lucky. And at that moment in time, I drove up Jubilee Way and I carried on the A2, and I thought to myself, how the hell did I get away with that? I mean, I was doing over double speed limit. On this one occasion, I got to work.
There was no one else on the road.
There was nobody else on the road, but even still.
That's probably why.
Maybe.
And because it was so early in the morning.
It was so early in the morning, there was literally nothing on the road, which is why I was able to do it. You know, not to say there's an excuse and that's the reason why I was doing it. Although it helped, because obviously there was nothing on the road. But Graham, this is my point. Now, or I could have taken the other stance, and I could have said to the officer, "Not having that, mate. I was doing 30." You know full well I was doing more than 30. You know what I mean? I could have argued with him, and then would it be wrong if he retaliated? You know, if I was not complying. I don't know. See, this is what I mean. You can't do anything today. Nowadays, you can't retaliate.
Well,
you can't say anything.
It's difficult. You want to give full information, but sometimes you worry about how much you give. So I think it really depends on the wording and the and how it's said.
But if I'd have got lippy with this officer, I'd lost my licence. If he thought I was trying to be a smart ass, put it that way, or if he thought I was trying to be difficult with him, he could have gone, I'll throw the book at you. Now there's a possibility he couldn't have done, because he might not have had the evidence to prove that I was doing the speed he suggested I was doing. He might not have caught that on any sort of data to actually use as evidence, possibly. I don't know. But what's the point in risking that when actually he could have had something, when I know full well I was in the wrong? It was blatantly obvious. I don't know. I suppose it depends on the person that you are, doesn't it? But it seems like what you're saying, Graham, and I agree with you, that people of today, it seems, the youngsters of today, haven't been maybe brought up, whether it's the parents' fault, I should say, I don't know.
It's not just the parents, it's down to the media.
The media, they've been brought up to not be fearful
with
of.
the protests that I mentioned earlier on.
Yeah.
You know, but it's where the media are pushing that narrative the whole time. You know, the young are picking up on it. They're sponges, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
They're going to pick up on this.
Yeah. You know, so I don't think
they're going to take it as gospel, and that's the reason why we've got the situation we have at the moment.
I know police officers. Are more than capable of doing the job, but don't do it to the best that they could do it, simply because they're concerned about one, paperwork, two, consequences, and they want an easy life at the end of the day, and that's a shame, because that worries me when I hear, and I have heard, and I'll mention no names, police officers have actually said to me over the years, don't worry, we've had a word, we don't want to deal with it any further because it'll be too much to deal with.
Well, I had a similar situation actually on the way to work once, and we were meant to be doing pointless news bits, but we sort of allowed.
Oh yeah, but this isn't pointless, is it? It's quite. I think it's quite beneficial.
I was on the way to actually manage a care home in Ham Street in Ashford, and I was running extremely late, and not just that, there was also an incident that developed as well, which made me go a lot faster. I was doing 96.7 miles per hour when I got pulled over by the highway police just before
the gendarme.
Just after.
You say French, please.
Highway.
Highway.
Just past the junction from Cherrington. And I said roughly the same as you. Do you know why we stopped you?
Because you wanted to nick me chocolate bar, sir.
I was speaking. Do you know how fast you were going? And I actually said that I didn't say the exact figure, but I knew how fast I was going.
Oh yeah, of course he knew you knew. He knew you knew.
And I said I know I was going extremely fast, but I wasn't paying much attention. I've got a situation I need to get to, etc., care home, blah 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 blah. Need to get there immediately, and that was the honest truth. So he said, well, would you like to see the system in his car, just to show me how it's all like configured and everything? I said, no, I believe you, officer, and I apologise. And yeah, I got a ticket. I think I only got 3 points. 90. He said we could have let you carry on, but we because once you hit just over 100 miles an hour, you would have lost your licence. That's what he said to me.
You ever got 6 points and lost your licence for a month?
No.
I did. Different situation. I was being a good Samaritan, actually. You wouldn't believe it. Alright, let me have this one out for you, shall I? So I was going my merry way to Dover from Elsham on the A20, and I had my beloved in the car with me. That sounded really professional, didn't it? And I remember, I think I had children in the car as well, actually. Yeah, I did. And we had 2 children in the car, and I was driving towards Dover, and there's this car, and I mean absolutely right up the back of my car. I mean, I was actually a little bit nervous about just how close they were, even for me driving. All right, and you know me, Graham. I'm quite a confident driver, and they were close, and they wanted me out of the way. I don't know what was going on, so I applied the brakes. Not hard. I know sometimes because that's a criminal offence. You know, if you're not careful, you can actually get into serious trouble for that. I applied the brakes, not very hard. I shone brake lights. You know, I was taught that when I drove when I was started driving from my instructor. He said, just show brake lights, they will move back. Well, I applied this method. This particular lady that I was aware of, simply because she was that close. I mean, I could see what she had for dinner, Graham, right? Now, she hit the brakes. Now, bearing in mind, we're doing about 70, 80 mile an hour now. Right? She's hit the brakes, hit them. The car the body has shifted forward. The weight transfer has shifted forward. She's lost control. The actual car has gone bang. I haven't known anything like it. Bang into the centre reservation. My heart sunk. I thought, oh my God, I've just witnessed that. I've just seen that. And I was going along and I said to Misha, I said, I'm going to have to report that. I'm going to need to report that. I can't let that happen. I can't see that happen and not say anything. So as I was on the phone, I reported it. Misha had the phone, and I was talking to the police office or police station, and I said a lady was driving a car behind me. I shown brake lights, and she hit the brakes, and she's now crashed into the centre reservation. Obviously, I need you to be aware of the fact that there is a car on the motorway, just stationary. And they said, okay, let's take some details. Who are you? What's your name? Where do you live? All this, and that was it. I left it, and that was the last I heard of it. Oh, thank you very much for letting us know. Right. So I went about my day, thinking I was doing the right thing. Right. And then that evening, it was about 8 o'clock. I was back at home in Elsham, and there's a knock on the door by a police officer, and he walks in, and I'm thinking, oh God, what's this about? I thought at first it was bad news. I thought, oh, do you know what? He's come over to tell me this woman's not made it or something. I was quite. And he says, I said, oh, how was the woman? We started off the conversation. I said, how was the woman? And he said, yeah, well, it's weird. He said, we got there and she'd gone. When we found out where she'd gone to France. She was getting away. We don't know what her reasons were, but she'd gone. There was no trace of her. We noted that she left the country. I went, oh, that's strange. And then he said, but that's not why we're here, he said. I said, oh. And then I started to panic. I thought, well, what could it possibly be? And then he said, well, you're aware you were driving with no insurance. I said, no.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, not kidding. So I said, you're joking? He said, no.
So it's because they couldn't get the person they wanted to get, they've gone on for the next best thing.
Well. So I said, you're joking? He went, no, you didn't have any insurance. So I went,
it's like,
my heart was like, oh my God. So he said,
performance rates, isn't it?
Yeah. So he said, were you aware of that? I said, no, absolutely not. And in a way, you could say that it was good that he did stop me for it, because I would never have known, or at least if I had have known, I wouldn't have known unless I actually had an accident. You know what I mean? It was good that he made the point of it in a way, and I looked into it, and it was one of my payments hadn't come out. Weirdly enough, though, they cancelled my policy, or put it into cancellation, so it wasn't active. And I went on to the insurance company about it, and that's what they said to me. They said that you missed a payment, so we were cancelling your policy. I was like, great, brilliant. So I had to go to court, and that I did. I went to court, I had a hearing, I told them exactly what I told them from the very word go, even with the officer I spoke to on the day that he came out. And the judge said he would offer me 6 points. He gave me a fine. I'm trying to think how much it was. I think it was about £1,000, I think it was. And a 30-day ban, driving ban. So I was working in Folkestone at the time, not where I am now, but I was working in Folkestone at the time, and I was having to get the bus, and I couldn't believe my luck, because I actually thought, oh God, I'm going to lose my licence. I mean, 6 points. I kept being reminded that 6 more points I would have lost my licence. I was lucky that I only got 6 points, no insurance. But that's what it was, wasn't it? No insurance for.
Is it 9 points now?
It might be 9 now, but
yeah.
It was 6 then, and I think actually it was 3. It might even still be 3 for a bad tyre. So anyway, I did my time, and I respected it, and then after the 30 days I continued to go on as normal, and keeping a closer eye on my insurance, let's say. I mean, you may know, like me, that once you pay your insurance and you know it's paid, you forget about it. You know what I mean? You just don't think about it. Well, let's just say, obviously, times changed, and after that I was a little bit more aware, but that was a genuine accident. And I think I got through to the judge, although, however, I still committed a crime, even unknowingly, and therefore had to serve the sentence, if you wish. But so yeah, that was a conviction. Although that's now off the database, because I say after a few years it will come off your name. Although it probably does still exist somewhere, surely. I don't know. But yeah, so it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, again, I could have made life harder for myself if I tried to talk my way out of it in the courtroom.
Yeah.
They could have gone, do you know what, this guy hasn't even understood what he's done. Oh, we're going to give him 12 points. Oh, we're going to take his licence off him. They could have done that. Now, I think sometimes it does have an effect. I think depending on how you respond to the situation, I think depends on also their verdict.
You need to come across as,
Resilient and understanding and
having remorse for your actions. The possible what could have happened. What if you did have an accident, sort of thing. So yeah, and you've done the right thing there.
Well, I think in a way, in my mind, I was quite happy to hear the fact that this woman had been okay. Even though they were concerned by why she was fleeing the country, nobody even knew. They didn't tell me, and they weren't going to tell me. Why would they have told me why, if they even knew themselves? But although he worded it in such a way that she was getting somewhere and quickly. So, I don't know. But to this day, I now know that woman was okay. And I think actually if it hadn't been me under the circumstances, it probably would have been somebody else under those circumstances, because things happen for a reason, they say, don't they, if you believe in fate. But it just happened to be, I happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time maybe. But there's goods and bads out of that. There's positives and negatives, isn't there? The positive was actually I got caught with no insurance. So if I hadn't been caught that day with no insurance, it could have been worse. Another day, couldn't it? Or I could naturally have come across realising not paying it, and then therefore I could have rectified the problem without having any issues. Probably that. But yeah, these things happen for a reason. They say everything happens for a reason, and you take the smooth with the rough. But yeah, it was an interesting day, that one. Yeah. What have you got to share? We have literally covered everything, Grem.
We've got there. We've got a few pointless news bits.
Go on.
Shoe Zone announces Terry Boot.
Graham, can I just stop you, actually? Do you mind?
Yes.
Can we just pick up some of these points? Have we cleared some of these points up? Because we've got a few other things in. I just want to...
they're from the top down, they're new. So, we are teaching to nurture to every need. In my experience, if you start saying to someone on a regular basis, "Are you feeling well?" Sorry, excuse me. You look a bit peaky, they will begin to feel unwell. That's from Lee Turner.
Is it the same Lee as we had before?
Yes. And we also have another message. We need...
Who's this one from?
Frank. We also... what was it? Yeah, we need to remember why our grandparents taught that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me.
Sadly, people don't live by that motto, do they?
No, because it's been watered down. It's been
eroded.
Eroded.
Right, let's just hold for a minute. Right, so that sticks and stones will hurt my bones. No, that's not right. Sticks and stones will hurt my bones. That is right, isn't it?
It may break my bones, but names will never hurt
that
me.
That one. Well, thanks for that. Too much cloudy water. Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's talk about that now. Yeah.
The size of this glass.
In 2021. That's an old saying, isn't it? So now how would it say? How would it read now? Try and work it out. Let's break the code. So it's not sticks and stones may hurt my bones. That's not right either, is it? I'm not doing it right here, am I? Sticks and stones will hurt my bones.
Basically, they will say we are teaching our children that to allow themselves to have their bones broken, etc.
So sticks and stones will break my bones, but so will words hurt me.
I get this water down me.
Sticks and stones will break my bones, but so will words hurt me. That don't even rhyme. But it could be that, couldn't it? That could work.
Could be. Another message.
Yeah.
I got pulled up on the embankment in the mid-90s for standing straddling the bus lane. I was going to say
straddling.
Straddling.
Yeah.
Thought it'd been done for like like exposing or something. But no, it's not the case. What have you put in this water?
Tonic.
No. Right. Where was he? On the bus lane. He was going to give me a ticket until he realised I was working for the MI5 building at the time.
Oops.
And then suddenly let me go.
Oh. Oh dear. Sorry, Your Majesty.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awkward. Did he not? Right. So, okay. How did you work that then, Lee? I'm assuming you come across on the view of I work for the MO5, or was it I'm working at the MO5? Either which way, it all sounds the same. I suppose that in itself is pretty. Yeah.
It's
So-
basically Lee done a crafty thing there. He
did.
I think he basically just told the officer just what he needed to know,
Yeah.
and you know, just use certain terms like I'm going straight to the MI, you know, I'm due there now, due there like such and such time.
It's quite good.
Straight away, automatically,
Yeah.
the human brain thinks, oh, he works there, oh, I'll let you go, bye bye. But he probably was just there dropping something off. You know.
The saying is that about that physical things are bad, but words do not need to. No, absolutely. Get my words out. Tonic's going well, isn't it?
And exactly. Well, Ben has a little bit.
Yeah.
And people are basically now. People are being taught now. Children, for example, are being taught now that words are more
What do you know what I find amusing?
affecting. If you know.
Do you know what I find amusing though? The woke generation, I think, in my mind, comes from the youth. Ultimately, I think it comes from the youth. I think. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, and this is what is bizarre about this whole thing. It originates from the younger generation, or the modern. Actually, no, not really so much the younger generation. Let's just say the modern generation. The modern generation of the younger of us. Right. My point I'm getting at, and I will come to it, I promise, is actually, yeah, I had to think about that. The children in question, youth in question, don't respect their parents, right? I don't think. Much of which. So if they're not respecting their parents necessarily, then they're not going to respect the law. My point was getting
It's
at.
like the dominoes effect.
Yeah.
So when I was basically growing up, and you growing up, it was only about 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
difference.
I do
between
something
us.
at home, and Mum would say, "You wait until
Yeah.
Dad gets home." That was enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That was enough. Oh my
It
days.
was just, you know, just
Well,
one word, and
I-
you just.
If
zipped
I
it,
knew how to
you
tell
know?
the time, I would try and time how long it would take to get out the door.
So what what I mean by the dominoes effect is the universities where they're teaching future teachers, for example, are now are in the education stream, and it's been like that for the past 20 odd years this way. So
Yeah.
the younger generation that's what they've had from day one.
Yeah.
But you can't necessarily blame the teachers as such in a way, because it's someone's initiated it from the word go.
But I do think also that I think teachers as well, credit to them in this respect, that they have not been able to almost teach right from wrong to a degree, because they've had powers taken from them in that. And I'm not saying that they should throw board rubbers across the room. I'm not saying that they should have you stand up on a bench desk with 2 hammers either side of your arms until they are ready to tell you to stand down.
But the thing is, if there was discipline within the schools in the first place like it used to be,
Yeah.
but bearing in mind, I mean, I've had to.
The fact is, there's no repercussions for any bad behaviour these days.
No, but this is it, and it doesn't need the caning. It doesn't need any of that being
No,
brought
no,
back
so,
at
yeah.
all. But you know, the fact is,
There's no consequences.
when that was taken away, nothing was put in its place.
Yeah.
And that's the error that was made.
So
So
children
therefore,
can.
the build-up, you know,
Yeah. So children in some
generations
cases.
come, and
Yeah.
we're where we are now.
They can
with
run amok,
attitudes.
and there's no responsibility behind it. There's no.
And then they grow up, they have children, their parents, they're at home, they're on their PlayStations, they're doing whatever, and
No
so on.
repercussions.
Kids are running about, they're not doing their homework, they're being mouthy to their teachers, being mouthy to their parents, and everyone wonders why. Well, the answer's already been said.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Discipline needs to be brought in
so-
from day one.
Yeah.
Simple.
And I think-
And it doesn't have to be physical.
No.
It doesn't have to be physical.
I will give an example as well, a very close example to me, in that an individual in my life can be hard to deal with, and the very individual has actions that affect others, not necessarily the direct actions that affects the direct people within that person's life. I should say. I'm talking not almost in a riddle here, but I'm saying that particular person's actions affect people outside of the very arrangements within the household, right? And what that leads to is others then acting upon it
in their households,
and as a result, others such as agencies alike act upon that. And then, of course, you find you're in a situation where you're a bad parent, not exactly, but actually having to then justify yourself as a parent for the reasonings for why these events had taken place.
Well, no, they should know that.
Yes, well, they do, but because of a protocol, a system, a policy, a X, Y, and Z, they have to go through proceedings. And what happens when that happens is they say, but if we have another report, we have to do what we've already done, because that, even though they know that actually there is no harm done.
No, it's the principle of the matter here, Ben, is the fact that
it happens.
If you have a situation with a loved one that
do you want any H2O, Graham?
Yes, please. That has the inability to be able to calm themselves in an adequate manner.
Yeah.
And therefore it does infringe on some behaviours of other individuals. They take that home, and then they take that then some others take it home to their home, etc. Then that's not directly down to the original part. You know what I mean? Not at all. It's the fact is you can only do, or
it's almost like,
a parent can basically only do what they're able to do with their child, and it's within their family.
You pass me your drinking sculpture
with the help of the teaching staff. You are not responsible. No one within the situation like that is.
Can I get you to bring it down a bit? It's too high.
Sorry.
Too high at the tap.
It is a rather large glass. No one is. Oh, I've lost it now. Pour away, please. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I wouldn't go. You got to mix that water. So yeah, I agree with you, Graham. What were we
Mixed
saying?
water with what?
No,
Ribena?
what were you just saying? I agreed with you, but I don't know what I agreed on now. I'm going to have to backtrack because you could have said anything.
Oh, crikey.
What did you just say?
Look, I'm sorry, everyone. I mean, when
Hang on, just turn the tap off. Right, go on, carry on.
As I was saying, parents, for example, cannot be held responsible for whatever happens in other individuals' homes.
No. I think you missed the point. You missed the point, Graham.
What have I missed?
The point is this: if an incident happens within the home of the individual causing mayhem,
yes.
If an outsider within their home acts upon that incident
And reports it
without realising what's just gone on.
Oh, I thought basically
anonymously,
meaning the school, etc.
Anonymously, because you don't have to give your name anymore.
Okay.
Because nobody wants to be responsible for their own actions anymore. I love that. That sounded good, didn't it?
I think this bit might get edited out.
No, I don't. I think it's going straight down the local news agents. And then what happens then, right, is then agencies have to act. Now they do, because and I understand it, because it's safeguarding. It's all about safeguarding, and I understand. But when the agencies know that actually the claims are not misconstrued, but already aware of, because there is a dealing upon the situation. It's like a good parent would take action, whereas a bad parent wouldn't care less and wouldn't follow the proceedings, and therefore there is no system involved in that moment. So whereas they know this, but they have to then go back to another situation if another one was to then occur. So then they go, but we know about this. Oh, we've had another report, but we have to follow it up. But we know about this. It's aggravation. And I think what's sad is there are individuals in this world that are in professions that know more about the very problem you're experiencing, but yet they are still willing to press that button to cause that mayhem when it's unnecessary.
You're on about the people that come round to talk to you about the situation.
No, the people that you have
Reported
not
it.
directly involvement with, but actually ones that live nearby one
And
that
reported.
actually then reported, and you know who it was, but you can't say it because they're anonymous. And I don't agree with that, Grem. I don't agree with anything being anonymous. I don't agree with we've had an anonymous complaint. Sorry, no, hang on, start again. You've had an anonymous complaint. So there was no complaint then. Oh no, we've had a complaint, but it was anonymous. So it came from a human being. Yes, it did, but we can't tell who it was. So you're telling me this person is so sure and so happy to report that actually they're not willing to give their identity. Now, you know I mentioned Meghan Markle was a troublemaker. Some would also say she's a scumbag. Not my words, by the way. That's a scumbag thing to do, Grem. That was my word. Isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, if I was to report you, Grem, I wouldn't care less whether you know it was me or not. I've got the balls to do it in the first place and stand up to your actions. Now, I'm not going to go, yeah, I don't want to be known there. I want to be anonymous. My name is Anonymous. What are you doing? Get a grip. Get a life. Get a life. And this is my point, Grem.
Yeah,
And there's too many, and that's woke. That is woke to the degree. People have been given the opportunity to be able to be anonymous. We can be a giraffe now. We can be a flamingo if we want to be. We can be non-binary. We can be anonymous. What more can we be? Graham?
As Piers Morgan once
I don't
said,
understand anymore.
You know, he's going to identify as a spirited penguin.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, one time.
I'd love to meet a spirited penguin. But no, Graham.
Yes.
This is my point here. I don't agree with anonymous. Whoever invented the word anonymous needs shooting. There we are, Graham.
But I'm afraid they won't ever get rid of it because it acts as a.
It acts as a coward's way out. It acts as
it also acts as a
It gives the ability for troublemakers to act pain upon others
in
because
every
their lives aren't so
situation.
good as their
In
own.
every situation,
That's
there is a group of people that will take advantage
So-
and can be called the troublemakers, the scumbags, etc.
Yeah.
But the reason why that you've got that possibility of withholding certain details, or no, the police know, and for example, and the authorities will know who it is, but they won't disclose that information to the relevant families. That it's been, for example.
Actually, I think I've missed the point. You're right,
Yeah.
because
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I do know what you mean.
Because
in
has-
fear of that family then taking action upon themselves, presumably.
No, it's actually it creates a situation where people should be able to feel free to be able to
Express.
their concern about someone, because if they don't, and they, you know, a few hours down the line, they might hear something terrible happened and a life has ended. Do you know?
So not being funny,
that sort of thing.
But Graham, I wouldn't have a problem. Actually, yeah, I see your point, but I don't. See, I would rather. See, I suppose it depends on the person that you are. It's the makeup of the person that you are. Because if it was me, now this is how I would do it. I would knock on the door. I'd say, "Hi, I'm your neighbour. My name's Barney Rubble.
I'm a bit concerned about watching what.
I don't
you
want to
know.
come across a bit awkward or a troublemaker, or I don't want to come across like I'm falling out with you, because that's not what I want, because you're my neighbour, and you know, I like that music you play on the weekend. It's really good. What is it? Oh no, no. What I'm really here for? Sorry, I'll get your phone number later. Yeah, what I'm here for is, yeah, your child. It's a bit of a pain, isn't he? I can't sleep. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, Graham.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Now,
Exactly like that.
so yeah.
But now just think.
But I blame Facebook.
No, but think.
I blame Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people don't do that anymore.
Go back 20 years, neighbours knew each other.
Exactly.
You had none of this. But now people don't talk to each other because they're either on their
Yeah.
phones or.
And I've known, and I say the younger generation, but I will blame the senior generation. I thought I'd never ever do, because I respect the senior generation, because there are lots of senior generation that actually can tell you a lot about life and understanding life, and I learn a lot by those in the senior department. But I will say that in my experience in the course of the last 5 years, even the senior of those on Facebook have had a word or two, and actually would refuse to speak to me when passing. Again, my point I made about before, you know, I just think it's weird how Facebook, social media can rule people in such a way that actually dictates upon what they're going to wear, who they talk to, how they go about their life. How, you know, it's a shame, and I really feel more to the point of it as being a shame. It's upsetting.
It is.
And I think
it's very sad.
I think we need to do. I say we need to do something about it. There's nothing I think can be done. The fact is, social media is always going to be there. It's a new thing now, and it's
the only way of working towards a to getting back to normality. We actually are in normality. The others believe that they have actually won the day, but they haven't. They are the minority. Yeah, they are the minority. They always will be. At the moment, you know, but in the future, maybe not so. So one good thing is that there's a new TV station that's recently going to start up, or has it started up? It's got Andrew Neil.
Andrew Neil, yeah,
involved with it.
Great Britain TV, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's starting up soon, if it hasn't already.
Yeah.
Because I'm not following any sort of media at the minute.
No.
So once that starts up, that will be a brand new TV station, brand new news TV station, which is meant to be running from a centrist sort of point of view.
Yeah.
And none of this spin and blah 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 on wokeness and
wokeness.
You know, it's just. And
do you know what? As much as that sounds ridiculous when you say the word wokeness, you could actually have that published. You know. Do you remember the word chav? That was never a word until they put it in the Collins dictionary. I don't think that's the only dictionary it was in, but it was entered into the dictionary as a word, chav. So
it's like TikToking.
So TikToking's another one, although that doesn't exist in the world of. No. I don't think it does.
No, it's what I said.
But it could.
Just
so actually, when people say that's not even a word, actually you never know. It could be. Look it up. It's like the DVLA, isn't it? When they update the highway code, you're a driver, you think you know the rules, but they update the highway code. Have you read it since you passed your test? Honestly.
No.
No, neither have I.
And I probably would fail it.
Probably. I would.
But I'm not driving anywhere anyway, so at the moment, so it doesn't matter.
But you seem to claim you know how to drive, which we do, but we know the roads because we've driven them so long. But actually, the highway code changes. Nobody ever reads it. Who reads the highway code after you've passed your practical?
It's not just that. All these signs that you're meant to be able to memorise. I mean, there's hundreds of them, right?
Yeah.
Hundreds. There's no way you can actually memorise hundreds and hundreds of signs.
Yeah. I'm not Scottish, by the way, and yes, it is ginger.
Who's saying ginger?
No one.
Oh.
I just thought I'd mention it.
Oh.
Andrew is back. Hello.
Hey.
Andrew, we're not repeating ourselves twice or three times anymore. We have fixed the problem. It was because I had the desktop audio on full. It had nothing to do with the microphones. The microphones are working as they should.
You worked out all on your own?
Well, no, I stumbled across the problem. I didn't.
Yeah, in your head?
No. I was just thinking, this doesn't make sense. And then all of a sudden I pulled a bar down and it was working. And I thought, why did that happen? And I don't even know even now why that was doing what it was doing, but it was doing it. And so I took that bar down and it gone. No echo. So I don't know.
The Ben&Grem Show wouldn't be.
But it wasn't echoing in here, was it?
You know, if it didn't have these sort of like exciting interludes.
No, that's much better. Thank you. Yes, it is, Andrew. And I am disappointed that we have spent how many months off the camera. Last November it was when we were on the last Ben&Grem Show. And we've had all this time. We've come back for the first time this year. And the sound was wrong. But it wasn't wrong. It was because I left a bar up. That bar being desktop audio. Lee, you might know what I'm talking about. And in fact, no, Andrew, you will too, knowing your involvements with cameras and.
But it's been a pretty good
editing.
evening so far. You know, we've had some fun.
It happens like that. The first hot run, crazy stuff happens. Yeah, no, thanks, Andrew. I'm glad you said that. Even the professionals go wrong, don't they, Grem?
A year later, Andrew. Yeah.
Yeah, but Grem, we haven't used 3 microphones before. We're getting a bit surround sound all of a sudden.
Well, we need a place. We need some financial funding.
Yes.
We need,
no one's going to pay for us, mate.
injection of
No one's going to pay
money.
to watch us. Are they?
Why? We've got 2.3 million watching us at the minute.
Might take a couple of zeros off that, if that's all right with you.
All right then. Let me
Or maybe
try.
4 zeros.
What have you put in that tonic water, man?
It's a bit fizzy, isn't it? No, it's not tonic water, it's water. H2O. Cheers. Andrew, I hope you're well, mate. We have been a while.
Tonic water.
Lee, Andrew says hello to Lee, by the way. When are you on next? Consistency is the key. No, it is, absolutely. And actually, Grem, Andrew, you're right, because, and Lee as well, is we were away for so long, I had a worry, didn't you? That actually the Ben&Grem Show was dead.
It wasn't dead.
We didn't think that. And I thought we've got to do a show. And we talked about it. We talked about it several occasions. We had opportunities, but other things took place.
We had a couple planned, and then things happened, and quite serious things.
And then we had to sort of say to ourselves, look, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to put it off. And I remember we had the last show we did, which was in November last year. And I said to you, wasn't it? I said, we said, we'll be back in a couple of weeks or a week, or I don't know.
And they brought lockdown in.
Then they brought lockdown in, and then.
And then I got COVID.
I don't even know. Yeah, that's right. Again, they brought lockdown in. Don't forget, because we actually started the Ben&Grem Show before lockdown, during lockdown, didn't we? I think, but it was going before that, wasn't it? I think, wasn't it?
No, when we. Hang on.
Yeah, I think it
no,
was.
No, it was going, but it was lessened. It was like a level 1, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you know, no, absolutely, Andrew, and this is right. Consistency is the key, and of course, we have no reason not to carry on as we.
Consistency is the key, but it's probably going to be within like I don't know, between a 3 and a 5 day
turnaround.
So the days won't be the same.
No, of course.
And especially if I'm happen to be within employment within the evening, that may cause a situation to turn all the time.
We're not actually together right now, Graham, are we? Because I mean, obviously, you know, you've got COVID. It might look. I mean, I will say, with the experience that we've had with the Ben&Grem Show, we can say that we are getting it right with the cameras at least, and the software setup and so on and so forth. We're not actually together. You know, Graham is over there, and I'm over here. And it's amazing what you can do with camera work, and that's the interesting thing about cameras. So, thanks again for tuning in, everyone. And Graham, I'll give him a ring in a minute. All right.
Hello. Oh, it's not my phone.
It's not easy though. Even once a month would be okay. Once a week is ideal. It's hard. Yeah. Once a week. Once a week. Twice a week's great. We did do twice a week.
You do 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week.
I would. No, I don't think. Well, I would, but I don't think I can now because actually.
I think we should pencil for once a week, and maybe on the occasion there may be 2 times a week.
Yeah, from now on, I think with that
as a special,
and we have a positivity now that we know that we're coming out of the end of this lockdown.
Yes,
slowly.
Yes.
So by June, hopefully, we should be back to a normal. Andrew, I'm sure you will be in the position to be able to do lots more documentaries. Although you've probably got a lot of material already, and it's given you some time probably to work on that at least. And the same goes for you, Lee. Obviously, you know, with your line of work, you know. Things are looking up, so I think given June coming soon, things will be best for all of us. In the meantime, we are what we are, and we've done what we've done, and it has been a while. November.
Yeah, we have. Are you rounding this off?
No, not at all.
No,
I've got lots to say.
Well, I know you have lots to say. Everyone knows you have lots to say.
I've also told the world just now that I am now quite heavy.
Where?
What do you mean?
Well, it's gone past 9 o'clock now.
I'm quite heavy. 190 £.
Yes, he's managed to put on some weight.
Yeah, I can't believe it, Graham.
How?
It's all that sausage I've been eating.
German sausage?
Yeah. Salami.
Asian sausage?
Italian. No, Asian.
Any sort of sausage.
Any sausage. I've had a liking for sausage recently, guys.
Have you?
Like Elvis had a liking for burgers. Do you remember that? He loved a burger, didn't
Confession, lads.
he? Yeah, it is. No, pepperami What's the other one? Pepperami, garlic sausage, all that sort of stuff, all that jib jab.
Garlic sausage, you and garlic sausage. Oh
I've had
gosh.
yeah, I was taking it to work. I was sharing it with colleagues as well. I used to go into work and say, "Oh, who wants a bit of my sausage?"
Oh, for
And
God's
obviously
sake.
it was chopped up, and then Chris would go, "Yeah, I'll have some," and then of course Chris would have some, and we'd share it in the mess room. Yeah, sausage, and it's good, and it's fulfilling and Moorish.
Do they throw any of it up?
No,
No?
no,
Don't swallow it
like
whole?
chorizo and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Chorizo and pastrami and sausage. Lovely. Gherkins.
Mm. Lovely.
I've gone a bit over the top.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, but you know, I like sausage, so what? You've lost weight actually. You've gone the other way. I've put on and he's lost.
Well, I've been under so much stress.
You wear that jacket better than I do.
It still doesn't do up.
I don't even know if it fits me actually.
Doesn't fit me.
Probably
Let's
not.
see. Not enough, I breathe in.
Curry was his favourite, Andrew says, and Coke. Yeah. Hot sausage. Yeah, hot sausage. Yeah, hot dogs. I like it when you go to a football game and you have a nice sausage and onion dog. Do you remember that?
Do you like it firm or floppy?
They're both the same, aren't they?
Well,
Because they
it
still
depends,
flop, don't
doesn't
they?
it?
You know, they still flop. The burger, the hot dog will always flop.
Well, it depends if
Depends
you...
how long it is over the side of the butter.
Because
over the
some
bread.
use like standard sausage.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And
Yeah, but
some
I'm
use
talking.
saveloin.
Yeah, I like the
Saveloin?
Saveloins. I'm talking
Saveloin.
Frankfurter,
Yes, that's it.
and they always
It
overhang.
flops
I
about
love
all over the place.
I love it.
Floppy, floppy, flop.
I love it.
Mm.
Yeah, Dover Athletic. I went
Yeah.
to see Dover Athletic one day. It was in the FA Cup against Southend. Dover won actually, had a good game, and they went through. And I was at the Crabble Ground with a friend of mine. You weren't there, were you? No, I
No.
don't think you were. And
Did it involve sausage?
yes, because I ordered one. It was a hot dog with onions, and it was brilliant, and I loved it.
Involved sausage.
Actually, I don't even think it was a Frankfurter. I think it was actually the Cumberland of Cumberlands. But it was good. It was
It
tasty.
tastes nice.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it, and I was starving, you know. And it happens. You get to a football game and you start getting really hungry. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever been to a football game? I don't know what it is. The wind starts to blow and you start getting hungry. And they know it and all. They know that at half time you're going for a burger. They're not stupid.
Do you know, I'm in my 40s and I'm smiling about the term sausage. Oh my God. I don't know.
Lee has to go. Shame, of course, but he has to go. He's got work. I know you have, Lee, and I hope
Thanks, Lee, for being a part of tonight's show.
Yeah,
It's
thanks
really
for-
appreciated, mate.
Yeah, appreciate it. And Lee also, obviously, we haven't spoken for a little while.
We'll
Give it-
do a Zoom at some point.
We will do a Zoom. And also, Lee, I want to say have a good day at work. Obviously, you, like others, teachers and so on, are back and working hard as ever. So, yeah, thanks very much, Lee. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Brilliant.
Done.
Yeah, thank you. Andrew, he signs...
He's saying bye-bye, Lee.
He's saying bye, Lee. Yeah, he is. Yeah. So where are we at now? Because we
Well, we're just because Lee's gone, we're not going to literally just like shut off the show because it's you know.
we
like,
have
we've
still
got-
got a couple of extra topics to talk
Yeah,
of.
well, we've got a couple.
and Lee-
we've got 3 left, so
We have. And Lee,
we'll do them.
he will come back to see it another day, I'm sure. Because that is the benefit of the Ben&Grem Show. Look on Ben&Grem Show. You can see the Ben&Grem Show on the Ben&Grem Show Facebook page and also YouTube. And Twitter. No, we're not on, yes, we are on Twitter.
Yeah, we're on
and we're also on
Twitter.
Instagram as well.
Yeah. You do the Instagram.
What we want as well, guys, I just want to mention this as well, Graham, that we want to give people also the opportunity to cast one's topic along to us via the social media platforms so that we can, in these cases, build up some material
Yes.
that you want to talk about. I mean, this is what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, we've got our own material here, of course, but we want to know...
the small kind of story,
Anything,
you know,
anything.
any sort of pointless news.
And please don't make it political, if you can help it.
Yeah, I'd rather try and. I've been
We don't
trying.
care, but...
I've been trying to keep out of politics for ages on this, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Well,
I mean,
we both have.
but you know, one person once said to me when I said the same thing, they said, "Why are you not in politics anymore, Ben?" And I said, "Well, I don't I don't know. I just want to get away from it all. But everything's politics, though, isn't it?
It's all
I'm thinking,
connected.
but it is all connected. It doesn't matter what you talk about. You always find yourself coming back to it, and it's annoying. Politics rules everything. It does. It doesn't matter if you're at work. It doesn't matter if you're talking about football. There's always a reason for why a decision was taken, and it might not be that obvious at first.
and it all comes down to
It's politics.
the invasion of wokeness.
Wokeness never gets away.
Well, there you go. Wokeness. The new virus, not from China, is it?
But it was certainly man-made, this one, though, at least.
Oh,
we
yeah,
can say
definitely.
we can safely say woke was invented by the man-made elements. I mean, maybe the virus at first we thought that, but then we realised actually no. Let's be realistic about this. No, there is a reason for this, and it is quite a serious matter, and we should take it seriously. But yet, woke, it was man-made. It was developed, so we've not actually been able to adapt to that yet. We haven't had any lockdowns over woke yet, though. Interestingly, have we?
Oh my God!
Shutdowns, plenty of those.
Oh come on! They would end up having such a meltdown. They'd probably be like going to, I don't know, Beachy Head and jumping off.
It's like, I think sometimes it's like giving in, isn't it? Someone's getting hysterical, so you give in to them, and then they get better, and then the moment's over, and you move on.
It's annoying though, having to listen to it, and
Yeah.
it really is, because that's what you feel. But then when you look at the bigger picture, you know, it's the fact that it's happened because no fault on ourselves, but on people within government and within certain authorities have been able to make sure that you didn't get this situation. But you know, why should we be held responsible?
Yeah, exactly. Where are we at now? What's the next agenda?
A man from, because I was making no sense there. I don't think I was. I was trying to choose the right words because I got a bit jumbled up, but I think I got away with it slightly. Man from Sussex. Thank you, tonic water. Man from Sussex, wanted by police, handed himself.
Why did you say that in a Somerset accent?
I was being classy,
All right.
like I am now. Right. Because I talk like this all the time. Oh my God. Oh, when I watch this back, it's going to be so like enlightening. Compose. Right. Man from Sussex, wanted by police, handed himself in for some peace. Handed himself in for some peace and quiet. Said he couldn't bear to spend the night time in lockdown with people he actually lived with. I love it. That is amazing. Oh my God, I wish I could comment on that, but I'd probably end up having nowhere to sleep tonight.
Well, I could comment on it as well, but it's not the sort of comment you'd expect from it. But carry on. You want to go first on this, do you?
I've just said it anyway, so I've got nowhere.
Oh, you have, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? Oops. No, I mean, do you know what? I'm more surprised at the fact they've got room in the prison for him.
It's quite funny, that, isn't it?
In the cell. How have they got room for him in the cell?
Good.
Because he just... Yeah, it is good. It is good. I'll give him up. I'll give it up to him. And that actually happened, did it?
Yes. Yes, it did.
Okay, so...
A man from Sussex.
Maybe I wasn't listening, but what was his initial crime? Or was there no crime? He happened to just say, look, put me in bar.
He just didn't. He got fed up. He's got getting fed up with living throughout lockdown with the same people. He wanted to be somewhere else, so he'd rather sort of on his own.
Yeah.
I tried that once recently. It didn't go quite to plan.
That's actually quite good, isn't it? Yeah, think about it. You want a bit of peace and quiet. You want to change your scenery. You asked to be arrested.
Yeah. I didn't get arrested, but everyone went tits up.
How long did he stay? How long did he spend? I mean, do we know any more about this? Did he spend long in prison, or?
No, I believe.
No, prison. I think that's a bit.
I believe he was given one night, and then he was released the following day. Went off.
In other words, it probably went along the lines of, we've got an empty slot, you can have it, but if we have to bring somebody in, you've got to go home, sir.
After they stopped laughing, probably, yes.
Well, there you have it.
Now, also, we have the world's first space hotel plans to open by... Oh, God. God, help us. 2030, as if. Rooms overlooking the Earth.
What? How can that happen?
Oh, come on.
When did this come from? Hang
The
on.
media.
World's first space hotel plans to open by 2030. Rooms overlooking Earth. Rooms overlooking Earth. Right, so we haven't got to Mars yet to understand to be able to live freely. So that's not going to work.
It's obviously going to be, you know, just out.
Just out off the space station, shall we say?
Well, yeah, that area, so it gets sucked into the
Just
Earth.
stuck out a platform
Yeah.
and build a house on it.
Well, where's it going to look out over? Earth.
Well, it would if it was up there.
I mean, mate,
Hang
you
on a minute.
Come on, this
No.
deserves a pointless news.
No, it is. Well, yeah, it does actually, Graham.
Yeah,
Let me
come
just.
on. Get it going.
Pointless news.
Gosh.
Right. Yeah, it does because
I
Graham.
need some water.
Yeah, please. Whistle wetting. No, it does. Grim. Actually, this is a good point. That's a good point. No, it does. This works. Now listen. Listen to this. Gravity does not exist in space, right? That's a good thing. Doesn't matter how heavy an object is. In reality, it will float. Think about it, right? So, if we were able to build houses and get them into space, they would stay relatively still, although they'd probably move quite fast in reality to Earth. But yet still enough, maybe, that they could be attached to the space station of some way or another, enabling that house. No, it's not going to work because you'll float around inside the house, won't you? Let alone outside of it. You can't go anywhere. What's the point?
Do you see what I have to put up?
No, actually, I was generally thinking I was onto something then, but then I thought to myself, okay,
No.
fine, we've got the house up there, we've got it attached to the space station, I'm now living in it, rent-free. I mean, no one's coming up to get my rent.
Where's he
And
going
then,
with
and
this?
yeah, and then I suppose they could ask for it on a bank transfer, but then I'm thinking to myself, I'm up there and I'm thinking, right, I can't leave my house. Because if I was able to float outside the door, bearing in mind the door's down there, and I'm up there at the moment, hanging off the ceiling, I've got to somehow get where? I can go to the space station. That's great, thanks very much. I'll do that on my holidays, but then I'll come back to my house. I can't go down the local shop. Where am I going to get my food? It's not going to work. Graham, this is a stupid idea.
Well, of course, Ben. 2030 clearly states it at the start.
Oh right, yeah, it's 9 years away.
Yeah,
It's not possible, I'm sorry.
no. You okay?
Yeah, I never wrote that.
Sure you're okay.
I never wrote it. I just don't. I need to argue with it because I just think it's bonkers.
Are you feeling you need some counselling?
No, at first I thought that we were going somewhere with this, Graham. I actually honestly thought there has to be some logic in this thought process, and there is.
I can give you a title in anything,
But
and you will somehow create a story from it because that's your ability,
yeah,
which is
I'm
pretty good.
not disputing that. But look, just picture this: you can get to space.
Yes,
You can live in space.
within reason, yes.
You can be attached to a space station and stay relatively static. So you can live in a house that you've put in. Actually, how are you going to get out there? I haven't thought about that. I mean, it only becomes weightless when it's in space, but you've got to get it out of the ozone, yeah. Right, okay. You're going to need a fair amount of rockets to push that up.
It's like a bomb going off inside your head.
You would need probably a fair few. You're probably looking at double figures. Rockets, literally positioned right outside the house, or all the way around the house. No, it's not going to work. Forget it. All right, forget it. I get it. We ain't going there. It ain't happening. You're not getting a house that weighs several tons.
Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, let's move on. But let's just say if you could get the house into space, Graham, it'd be a great idea. But you wouldn't be able to go anywhere.
Why?
Well, because why actually?
Look, I can't believe it. I've just said let's
Yeah,
move
no.
on, and now I'm saying why.
No,
Please
why? No,
continue.
it's a genuine
Okay.
question. Why? Why would it be a good idea? Well, because the views would be good. But that's it. So what's the point? Actually, for that, it's a pretty poor reason, isn't it? Just send a rocket up and back, then you've got the view, and that's the end of it. You don't have to live up there. There's nothing to live up there for.
Hit the button. Come on,
Right,
Ben.
okay,
They need to hear it.
Right.
Pointless news.
Oh yeah.
Someone's not on the ball today. I don't know
Pointless news.
No, I'm fine one to talk.
Yeah, so, hang on a minute. Now I realise where we are. You said pointless news. If it was pointless news, if the last one was under pointless news, then I did talk it to death. There's no need for it because I understand it was pointless news. Was the last one under pointless news?
Yes! That's what we've been doing for the past whatever.
Oh, I wish I realised.
Oh my god.
I thought
No.
there was a catch here.
Piers Morgan's gone.
Hmm.
Maybe we should
Bring him in.
see if we can join Susanna.
Susanna Reid.
Yeah.
What?
Both of us.
What? And play the pointless news episode over her.
We can actually.
I'm
be
sure she'll
a-
love that. I'm sure we'll go far with that, mate.
Yeah. And get this. It sound. I don't know how this is going to sound. A double-headed presenter.
What?
You and me with Susanna Reid. Whatever her name is.
How was it? We're not Siamese twins. How can we be double-headed?
Well, through editing.
Oh, right.
Well, what I mean is, normally it's just Pierce and her,
Yeah.
isn't it?
They're not double-headed, though, are they? Oh, I see what you mean. Right, yeah, it's a figure of speech. Sorry.
Right.
Pointless.
A professional chef, and this is closing tonight's show, people, because we've been on air for how long?
Too long, he says.
About nearly 3 hours, maybe.
Don't know. Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Yeah. 6 minutes off 3 hours.
Oh my gosh, no way. Anyway, a professional chef claims the key to
Success.
a perfectly cooked steak is to use a toaster.
Right. It's wait.
Well, if you want it medium rare, like I prefer it, so you got the so much either side cooked, and then you got the inner part slightly red. Well, a lot red actually, because I like a lot of blood, because I'm a bloodthirsty person.
Hang on a minute.
When it
Hang on.
comes to
Hang on a minute.
a bit of beef.
Hang on a minute.
Pointless news.
Beef curtains.
Graham. Yeah,
Anyway, so it's 2 minutes one side, 2 minutes the other side,
it's
on
a
a
blue
very,
steak.
very high
it's
heat.
blue steak. It's not
No.
going to do anything more than that.
A blue steak is literally
Touch the sides.
30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the next.
Well, what's the toaster going to do? It's going to pop up before it gets any
Well, that's a
chance.
blue steak. There's different stages.
Yeah.
So you got blue
You might
steak.
get rare out of it before it pops up because it's freaking out that it's got a bit of steak slot in between itself. But that's not going to happen because you ain't going to get the steak in there. Presumably you could get the steak inside.
Where it's about a minute and a half either side.
Right, so you're going to
Yeah.
smash the steak, yeah? Because you've got to thin it out.
That's already been done.
Right. Yeah, but it
Don't
doesn't say that.
complicate
It
the
doesn't
matter.
say that, does it?
No, because it won't.
Yeah, but
Really?
it needs to because that doesn't.
No, it won't. It won't do that.
Because it ain't going in the toaster otherwise.
No.
Right, so assumably then you have to
Depends
smash
on
it
the
first.
size of the.
So you've smashed it, you slot it in the slot of the toaster, you've pressed the button down
And then you call the fire brigade.
because it's oil's dripping off it. That's ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Although,
Unless he means setting the toaster to a certain position, like let's say number 3 for example, and pressing that and then frying a steak.
but it wouldn't fry on number 3, it would barely cook. It wouldn't do anything.
No, 3 minutes one side, 3 minutes the other side, and you're basically got medium rare.
Like slowly.
Because it's basically about 7. It depends on the heat as well. A steak needs to be cooked on extremely high heat.
Right.
For-
Intensively.
Yeah, extensively for around about a minute and a half to 2 minutes each side, and then depending how you like it after that, it's from a minute to 4, I think it is, until it's like fully. But if you really want it done, it's a couple of more minutes on top. Yeah, it's really nice. Nice bit of blood.
Yeah.
You know, it's like biting
Yeah,
into a steak,
I'm
isn't
not.
it? Dripping out.
I'm worried that I might try this.
Hmm?
I'm worried that I might try this.
No, you're not going to do it, Ben.
No?
No, because I won't allow it. I'll tell your significant partner that the answer is
You
no.
say that, but when she wasn't watching once, I did happen to boil some milk in the kettle.
Oh my God, no!
Yeah.
How please tell me
It happened.
that this was literally years ago, like about 10, 12 years ago. Well, no, actually, well, no, not even that. I mean, are you seriously? That's
Within the
silly.
last 2 years.
2 years?
No, maybe a little bit sooner than that.
2 weeks?
No, well, that's
2 months?
4 years ago.
4 years ago?
Yeah, but actually it worked. It worked.
Why?
There was no reason for it not to.
But why would you do that?
Because I couldn't be bothered to get a saucepan out and put the cooker on and all the rest of it. It was there, the kettle was there, I looked at it and thought there's no water in it. If I pour the milk in, it'll boil. Job done. Bob's your uncle. And it worked. Although it left a brown, like a film around the element and the bottom of the kettle, where...
And then you actually probably send your partner out to buy a brand new kettle.
No, I'm not sure what happened.
And then at the same time you thought, actually, I need this and that for my computer.
Yeah, but Grem, I did have the hot milk. It worked. It just didn't work effectively enough.
Did you have a microwave? Was it working?
Yeah.
Oh, Ben, my God. Why on earth are there people out there like this guy? You've got a microwave. Use it.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Right. Well, that was our final topic of the evening.
Anyway,
To do with professional chef.
let me just say...
Pointless news.
Yes, it was...
Gosh, my God.
It was pointless news, yeah. Milk should not be boiled in the kettle. That's my disclaimer. It does happen. It does do its job perfectly. However, you will ruin your kettle. Unless you're prepared to scrub your kettle afterwards, because the milk tends to get burnt on the element because of the intense heat that happens quickly, and yet you find yourself scrubbing. In fact, that would have survived though. It would have survived, Graham.
Did you actually clean the kettle afterwards? No. Who cleaned the kettle afterwards?
I don't think it could be cleaned.
No. But what else did you get on top of the kettle?
What do you mean? Froth?
No, normally when you get something like you buy something new,
Calcium.
you normally like, oh, I need this for the for the computer. I need this attachment for the PlayStation.
You got something been given you, Graham. That was a stalling tactic to wonder what on earth you were talking about, so I can answer responsibly.
Some people actually boil eggs in kettles.
Really? No, I didn't know that. But that makes sense.
Well,
Actually, that could do. That could work.
it's doable. I wouldn't do it, but that's me.
What a good idea.
But then, if
Well-
you haven't got like a saucepan or whatever, then you've got no choice.
I had an
You've got to use
urge
a
to
kettle.
want to play pointless news there for a moment, but I don't think I can on this one.
No, because it's actually a hack, not a hack, a tack.
A life hack.
Hack.
Life hack.
A life hack.
Do you remember those life hacks? Now that was good for social media actually. Life hacks. There was a channel you could watch when people were doing random things. That was good. That was good. Life hacks. Now let's talk about life hacks, Glenn. They're quite interesting. There's a few of those out there that.
Oh, there's many of them. Many.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. So maybe the kettle does have more use than boiling water. I wonder if you can boil soup in it.
Oh God.
Well, you probably could if it's watery enough. Yeah.
Please, my God.
No, you could.
No.
Take mulligatawny. No, actually, no, what's the other one? Minestrone. Take minestrone soup. You put minestrone soup in a kettle, boil it. All the bits
Can
are
you
gonna start-
actually imagine living with this guy?
No, seriously, hear me out. Right, so that would work, Graham. Get minestrone, stick it in a kettle, boil it. It's water-based, right? The bits are just going to bounce around with the bubbles as it's boiling. There's no burn necessarily needed. There's no burn needed because milk's thick, isn't it? It can be thick and it burns. It's got fat in it, whereas minestrone hasn't. I don't think. It can be considered oily, but it wouldn't be. I don't think it would burn. I reckon you could cook minestrone in a kettle. Don't try this at home, folks. If you are listening, let a professional do it, and that's not me, is it?
No, just don't try it at all.
No, let a
please,
professional
people.
do it. Actually, Google it.
Just
Someone's
wait
probably
and
done it.
find out on our next instalment of the Ben&Grem Show
Someone's-
how it went.
Someone's probably doing
Because
it
I can guarantee someone is going to try it.
live.
Oh my God, don't put me through it.
A live cooking video.
Oh, he's saying that. It's quite funny.
Kettle minestrone. That sounds quite
Yeah.
good, that, doesn't it? Kettle minestrone. It sounds like a dish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like a type of dish.
Something quite funny. My daughter, my youngest, the other day, she was pretending to do a I think it was a TikTok video. She wasn't filming at the time, but she went into it shortly after. How to fold a flannel. Oh my God, what is going on? Why? I said to her, I looked at her and went, what? She went, Dad, no. How to fold a flannel. I mean, how do you fold? Oh my God. 15 minutes of how to fold a flannel.
No, that's fine. It's fine seeing that, Grem. No, it's fine seeing that on TikTok, because sometimes when you open it up, you get this most random video possible. I would be more concerned if she added subscription to it.
Oh, don't stop there.
I mean,
Please,
mate, she
carry
was-
on for at least another 10 minutes.
No,
please.
you didn't say. Did she swipe? Or did she
No,
consistently...
she was running through the stage of practicing before she hit record.
Right. This
How
was-
to fold a flannel.
I think you already said that. I misinterpreted. So,
Hello guys, I'm going to teach you how to fold a flannel.
no, that's quite good.
What are you talking about?
That's interesting, isn't it? And how did it go?
I just looked up. My God, help me, please. She's the leader of tomorrow.
Do you know what I hate about flannels? When you see people put them over the sink tap.
Sink tap.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
I hang it over the sink tap. I don't know why. It doesn't matter whether they do that or not, because the drips go down into the sinkhole anyway, but it just annoys me. I don't know, it's a bugbear. I don't like seeing a flannel or a cloth hanging over the sink tap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It needs to be folded at least once on the side.
But, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. How do you fold one now? How do you fold
Just
it?
like that.
Yeah.
Just there's no method by it, really. In fact, I might not even do that. I might do that and then just roll it over the side. I might sometimes actually just end up in a heap.
Oh
I don't
God.
even have a. I don't even think I have a system.
And secondly, how do you, I can fold it twice. Do exactly what you said, like that, and then fold it into a square. Or
Oh yeah, only if I'm bored and I'm
literally
playing.
fold it half and then roll it neatly.
Yeah, roll it like a sausage. Yeah, I've done that a few times too in my course of livelihood.
Why on earth did I ever think that I was going to talk about how to fold?
Yeah, but like I say, but it depends.
Flannel.
It depends on what sort of day it is. You don't even think about it. You just do it, don't you? You either scrunch it up in a ball, you chuck it on the corner of the sink, or you fold it if you're feeling bored. I don't know why you would want to think about that much, but you do. I have done. And then that's it. Really, there's not much more to talk about.
Oh gosh.
I hate the idea of using flannels that others have used. I like the idea of having your own flannel. You know what I mean? Because that's dirty, isn't it? Is it not? Sharing
Well-
a flannel? I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Yes, it is
well,
and it isn't. I mean, if you wash it out, it's fine. If you know.
You should all have your own flannels, yes.
Yeah.
But obviously, in certain situations, if it's not a possibility, then maybe you can share a face flannel.
Unless you've
You-
got
but you-
conjunctivitis or what's that?
Well, it
Scurvy of the
depends,
face.
isn't it?
What's that stuff you can get?
What have you got that now?
No, I haven't. But you know that stuff you get, that rash that appears on your face.
Because I don't want it coming down the like the
It's not eczema. It's
the line.
It's
hitting
contagious
me.
as well. Not scabies. Did you say scabies?
Scabies. Have you got mites under the skin?
No, not that. It's not scurvy either. Scurvy? What was that? Was that a rash? No, it wasn't a rash, was it? It was food poisoning, wasn't it, or something?
What does it cause? What
Scurvy.
I mean,
I don't know, when you're out to sea and you eat dirty food and you get scurvy, your skin starts falling off, I think.
what you start to smell a bit fishy.
I don't know about that. No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't know. You can die of scurvy. Scurvy, is that even a thing? I don't think it's been around for a few centuries. I think it's an old school thing. It's a pirate thing.
No.
Just have your own flannel. Graham, what?
We've actually got to it. We've got no
You've
more.
made it.
So I'm willing
He's willing to
to
go.
literally carry on just a little bit longer.
I say, is that
if
enough?
anyone has got a comment for us to work with, bearing in mind to keep it within reason and analyse the sort of response you may think you might get from my good friend
Right.
here, Mr. Ben.
Steakers and a Pop-Tart. No, he's right. We have gone back a little bit. No, he's right. Pop-Tarts, you have to be careful with those as well because they burn easily in the toaster. You have to watch them. Don't leave a Pop-Tart in the toaster for any time at all because they burn quick. And not only that, but be careful when biting one, that be it a Pop-Tart, because you can burn your mouth with the jam inside.
Well, they do say to is it leave it 2 minutes before you actually decide to start to devour
That's
the
why
item.
you burn yourself, because you don't leave it 2 minutes. You can also eat Pop-Tarts out the freezer.
Yes, very yummy.
Never done it. You can also eat Pop-Tarts cold, but that would be eating it cold if you had it out of the freezer. Defrosted cold, room temperature. No way, that would not work. What's that, Gwen? What would? Yeah, I'm going with the milk in the kettle. No, it wouldn't. It didn't. Well, it did.
Now.
Well, it
Now,
did.
come on, the truth
Right,
here
the
is
truth
you
is
didn't
this.
allow it to boil totally.
No, I let it boil totally. It clicked off.
How much milk did you put in
It
there?
moved up. It foamed up a bit more.
You put a
because-
pint in, 2 pints?
I just think it was a glassful. So what are we talking? 700 millilitres.
Why? Just to see what would happen.
I wanted to. No, I was lazy.
Why?
I was
I mean,
feeling.
guys, don't forget here, he had a microwave.
Yeah, I had a microwave and also we had a cook up. No, I was feeling lazy and I wanted something done now. And I thought, do you know what? What's the worst that can happen? And I put milk in the kettle. I flipped the switch. I waited, and it got hot quick. So it did its job. However, the kettle didn't last long afterwards. So although the kettle did survive it, it flicked off. We didn't keep it because it was then contaminated with milky, fatty deposits on the element, and it was hard to get off. My point I'm saying is this: it does work if you intend on buying a kettle every time you make some milk. Otherwise, just stick to the saucepan. Actually, this is what happens. If you know, look at the bottom of a saucepan when you cook some milk on a saucepan, regardless of how long you cook it or how well you cook it, you will always get a film on the bottom of the saucepan. It happens because of the concentrated heat on the bottom of the saucepan. Same process to a kettle. The difference is you can't stir it when it's in a kettle because you can stir in a kettle. I didn't stir in a kettle, but if you could have stirred it in a kettle, then as long as you don't stir against the element, because that could cause a fire, I assume. It would still leave a film. So actually, yeah, that's probably why I say if you were to use a kettle to boil milk, that you can only do it once every time, and then you'd have to replace your kettle.
Well, there you go, guys.
So you can. I'm not having it. I'm not having this. You can boil milk in a kettle,
But you will have to buy a new one.
but you will have to buy a new one. So
Even if it's only a few days old.
I mean, we had the kettle a few years anyway. We're probably due another one. So
It's besides the point.
let's weigh this up a little bit. It
Why?
can be done.
Why?
Why? That's a point. That is a good point. And I have to answer that, don't I?
No. No, just, you know what?
No.
Just don't worry.
I don't know why. I could have just taken a little bit longer out of my
God,
busy
it's another
schedule
20 minutes.
and just boiled it in a saucepan like a normal person.
Oh, right.
However, I decided to think it would be quicker to do it in a kettle and then lose the kettle for a week.
Or microwave. Stirring it slowly.
Yeah, but I don't agree. Yeah, but the microwave is still awkward to do it in because
Why?
well, because microwaves. I'm going to say this now. I'm not sure if I'm actually believing my own self on this one. Microwaves, well, you can turn it down, can't you? So if you start to see it froth up, you can turn it down on the
What
microwave.
you do is just turn it on.
Or turn it off. Yeah, you can. Yeah, of
It
course.
needs to be quick.
As the same, yes, you would. As the same process as if you were doing it on a stove, you could just turn it down. Obviously, you can't
On
do
a
that.
gas, but not electric.
You,
'cause
you
not
could
electric.
technically do that on a kettle. You just switch it off, but you're still going to end up with a burnt element,
Oh,
regardless.
no, you're still going to get a load of froth coming up.
if you
hitting
don't
all
put
over the
it,
place.
not necessarily.
And then you've got the top to clean as well.
How did I deal with that
Surface.
situation? Oh, I think I just turned it on and off, on and off, on and off until it was hot enough to use.
Right.
Yeah, and then I put washing up liquid.
And then you boiled washing up liquid. Oh my gosh,
Well,
everyone!
Yeah, but I thought that would remove the milk from the element. It didn't.
But you know what? This isn't made up.
No, actually, this
Honest, this is made up.
This is actually truth.
This is the sort of thing he does.
But I get bored sometimes. It's dangerous to get bored. You do silly things. I need to be occupied. If I don't have something occupying my brain, I will do things because I'm interested in seeing what happens. I'm not saying I'm an unknown arsonist. I'm not saying I would want to go around setting buildings alight. I'll make that clear. All right, there are some limits to my dangerous life. I mean, there is some thinking in my dangerous life. I wouldn't put my fingers in the socket. I wouldn't do that. I can tell you now. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't jump in front of trains. I don't understand why people do that. Why jump in front of a train? Just because you want to see if you get off the other side? Well, you're going to, or you're not. I mean, big deal. Who's going to care? There's no self-importance or self-promotion by that. There's no reward. Life or death, innit?
Are they holding a kettle at the time?
Oh, I suppose you'd have to buy a new kettle if you get hit. Or you wouldn't. Someone else would have to do it on your behalf. You don't ask the bill payer before you take the kettle.
Oh, right.
Before you go down to your local railway station with your kettle, ask the bill payer, because it's theirs, not yours. Don't know why you say kettle anyway. I don't understand what you're getting at.
Because we were talking about kettles,
Oh, right,
making a point.
Yeah.
And you brought in a train.
Why are we still talking about kettles and milk? That was about 4 episodes ago,
That was
wasn't it?
you. Episodes? What are you on about?
It seems like we were talking about this last time.
Are you putting in your tonic water?
What's the next one?
We actually haven't got any more, but I did jump ahead.
Hang on.
We've got one.
How have we got one? I can see 3 that we haven't discussed.
No, I'll tell you what. We discussed the first.
Yeah.
We discussed that one. We discussed that
We haven't
one,
discussed
and
number
we
3, though.
discussed no. That's the one we haven't discussed. So that's the one.
For the first time in
The
history,
one.
Ben has actually, on the Ben&Grem Show, kept to the task. I mean, it's
Within
not
reason, guys.
within reason, yeah.
Yeah, but it's been.
Would you like some tonic?
Alright.
Would you like some water and tonic?
No, I've still got some of my tonic water here. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
Well, you've been great company. 3 hours and
Cheers,
15
guys.
minutes. I've enjoyed myself. What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been
It's been alright. I have to say,
it's been a lovely evening after everything that's been going
I
on. But yeah.
wouldn't prefer to watch paint dry. Actually, truth be known.
But know what I would. No.
Right. So
It's just,
record-breaking surge.
eh?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I was going to say something and it went
go on
all
then.
over the place.
Yeah, you were. Right,
Yeah, I've forgotten anyway.
Forget me.
No, go on. Record.
Record-breaking surge. I can't read it because I'm looking.
Bitcoin.
Record-breaking surge in Bitcoin means one man paid 440 million for 2 pizzas. What? Hang on.
What?
Record-breaking surge in Bitcoin means one man paid 440 million for 2 pizzas.
What? Why? What's
How's that?
the variation from Bitcoin to pound sterling?
Hello mate, can I order some pizzas? Yeah, how many do you want? 2? Yeah, pepperoni please. Yeah, and maybe a special as well. Maybe a side order.
How you
I'll
gonna
have some
pay for
onion
that,
rings.
sir?
How much is that, mate? It's 440 million.
No.
Oh,
how
yeah,
much?
okay.
Probably how much? How will you pay for this, sir? And then by Bitcoin. That's got to be it.
No. How much is it, sir? It's 440 million. How do you take? What do you take? We take Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, I'll send you some over.
Oh God, that's. Oh my God.
Why would you? Why
We've
would?
gone past like
Why
9
would
o'clock,
you?
isn't it?
Why?
Apologies.
No, I'm not. I'm
The
not
children that should actually be asleep.
Where did this story come from?
Sky.
Not BBC.
No.
I could believe it if it was the BBC. Not Sky.
It's very woke Sky, isn't it?
Woke. Sky. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It's walking woke. It's got tights on and everything.
440. He's got to obviously be evidently more worth more than that for him to want to spend 440 million on 2 pizzas. It just doesn't make any sense.
Do you know what?
I don't even go there. I'm not even having it.
Even though I want this topic to actually end.
And that was our last topic.
I think.
What, a
I think
letdown?
no, even though I want it to end, I want to know more about this. You know, who pays 440 million for 2 pizzas?
I don't understand how that happened though.
What?
Who pays Bitcoin in a shop for a pizza anyway? How would that even work? How could you, if you had some Bitcoin, how would you do it? Do we take MasterCard? Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Well, read look.
Yeah. Do you take Bitcoin?
Record-breaking surge in Bitcoin.
What we
the
take
company.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin
Are you okay, mate? No, we take GDP, pounds sterling.
means one man paid. I just don't.
Yeah, bring your pennies down if you like, with your Bitcoin.
We're going
What
to
does
look
that
into
mean?
this. We are going
I
to
know.
look into
Yeah.
number 3
We're coming back to this one.
about Bob. For crying out loud, praise the Lord and everything else that goes
We're
with
going to have
it.
a look at this.
Home. Amen. Right. We will look at number 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will,
Next
because I'm not
time.
having that.
And we'll
That's
get back to
it's
it.
too loose. There's no story in that. I want to know.
Mm.
I don't understand how that even come about. So the guy accidentally paid 440 million in Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. Okay, but what place takes Bitcoin? Openly, knowingly. Is that how did? What I don't get is, even if he had 440 million in Bitcoin, how could you possibly pay in Bitcoin? Right. What do you know, Gwen?
Well, I've just got off. Got off? That sounds rather rude, doesn't it? Anyway, Bitcoins. Bitcoins.
Volatility can also have consequences. What's that say? Lazio Hanley. Yeah, something like that.
Bought
Is that
into,
right?
Yeah. Bought into. Oh, that will do. Bought
2
bought
pizzas
into
for 10,000
bought 2
Bitcoin.
10,000
What?
Bitcoin in 2010.
When the cryptocurrency was worth pennies. Fast moving towards now, and cryptocurrency stash is worth a staggering. Right.
Right. So he basically
now
brought money into
now
the
this makes
area and he's made money on it.
that makes perfect sense to me. So basically, some guy somehow he paid by Bitcoin like it's a normal currency on the roads, the streets of our day-to-day life. Even in 2010, I don't think it really was, but even on the basis that we said it was, okay, or is. So this guy's paid that equivalent 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas, which now would be worth 440 million, but back then was worth the equivalent of.
The question is,
2
did he
pizzas.
cash it? Did he actually cash the money? Oh my gosh.
Well, you
We're gonna
can't-
have to look now.
Well, I'm going to say he probably spent it all.
Doesn't seem to actually go into it. But then again, I don't think it
I
would.
don't even. Yeah, but Graham,
440 million.
But I'm still not happy with this, because if you were, let's go back to 2010.
He bought 2 pieces. What from a shop?
Well, exactly.
I don't understand. What?
I mean, I don't care
What
what
the
pizza
hell?
you
You
want to
know-
say you are, but how would they? In what planet? On what day would anybody say, "Yeah, mate, that'd be 440 Bitcoin, 440 million Bitcoin, please." Excuse me. That's not even a currency. Well, it is a currency. It's a cryptocurrency. It's an internet-based.
Oh my god.
Currency.
This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I don't even understand how the conversation come about for the guy to request payment in Bitcoin. Now, I'm assuming the guy probably said on the other end of the phone, "Do you take Bitcoin?" Yes. No, I'm not even sure he'd say yes, because even in 2010, I mean, it's known now. Bitcoin is known now as being a cryptocurrency. It's an internet currency. It's known as a currency now, but back then in 2010, I don't think it was that well known, and I don't think it was well enough known for anybody to take it in as a currency. So why would I still find it bizarre to think that somebody would accept Bitcoin from someone on the high street, let alone.
I'm wondering if it
Request it.
means 2 shares in some kind of pizza company or something through Bitcoin, and then the surge of Bitcoin users
But it says
increased.
you said he paid more than more. No, start again. It says a Bitcoin. It means one man paid more No, actually paid. One man paid 440 million for 2 pizzas. It's quite clear in that. I think.
I don't know if he means 2 pizzas as such though. He didn't state it.
440 million in 2 pizzas. On two pizzas. For 2 pizzas. For 2 pizzas. Unless the pizza place was called 2 Pizzas.
Yeah.
So he's bought a pizza place for 400. But even still, why would you buy a pizza place for 440 million?
No.
You wouldn't. Let alone Bitcoin.
I think this is going.
You'd want a guarantee, wouldn't you?
I really do.
You do a guarantee with that, mate? Nah, we don't take Bitcoin, but we'll take 440 million's worth of you. And by the way,
that's now's money.
Yeah, would it be worth? Yeah, exactly. So in initial fact, he's bought 2 pizzas.
But previously, he would have.
They must have got confused. They probably didn't realise it was Bitcoin.
Oh, I don't know.
They probably didn't realise it was Bitcoin. It probably fooled the system to have the system think that the equivalent of what the pizza was actually worth based on the price that they predicted.
Really?
It must have realised that that was what was met in currency, therefore it accepted the payment, but actually the system didn't realise it was Bitcoin until only he checked the receipt, the guy in the shop. No, I'm not having that. No, because it wouldn't do that. You can't pay with Bitcoin. You can pay with Bitcoin on the internet, but you can't, you can buy a pizza on the internet, can't you? So he's bought pizza on the internet. No, I know what's happened. No. This is. I've understood. Hang on. I have worked out. I've worked out. Hang on. I have. He
Stick around for at least another half an hour. Yeah. Let us know, please.
Yeah. No, I have worked out. He didn't pay for the pizzas in Bitcoin. Physically paid in Bitcoin because Bitcoin isn't accepted as a currency yet in the mainstream high street. However, he probably used that Bitcoin and converted that money into currency of pound sterling, euros, whatever, and then used that money to buy the pizza. So technically it was Bitcoin that bought that pizza.
No, if he would do that, then basically...
But that must be the only way it could have worked. There's
it
no
would only
way.
be for the cost of the pizza.
Yeah.
No, it can't be. It must be something else. It's got to be some sort of shares.
I don't,
it has to be.
It doesn't say shares though, does it?
No.
But no, what I'm saying, but my point is, I'm saying is, if he put...
There's no way someone can... There's no way that anyone's going to accept... But the thing is, he hasn't... If it works out here, that he's actually got 440 million. If that's the case,
then he's
it's a share. It's got to be a share.
Because actually, Graham, you're right. Because actually, if he was transferring enough over to his bank, because evidently even in 2010, like now, you can't just walk into a pizza agency, pizza shop, pizza agency. You can't walk into a pizza parlour. You can't walk into a pizza parlour. A food shop and say,
no, pizza parlour's fine.
Yeah, you can't walk into a pizza parlour and pay with Bitcoin. It doesn't happen, does it? It's not there. There's no system for it. So
he must have
taken out
like a few
online.
Shares. Well, more than a few shares.
He could have used that. This is getting really complicated, but I'm not having it. I've got to get to the bottom of this. He could have used that Bitcoin to transfer into currency, real currency.
No, it doesn't say actually
usable
how much
currency, usable on the high street currency, and then use that money to invest. No. This is still not happening, Graham, because it says pizza. He's bought 2 pizzas. I'm not having it. There's no place called 2 pizzas. That's not it, is it? You know this. I'm stuck with this. We need to look at
the process of Bitcoin.
Right.
You own your Bitcoins. Then you can transfer them into pound sterling or dollar or wherever you come from.
Through the currency of the...
You then buy your shares.
Right, so do you buy your shares after you've converted to Bitcoin or before?
Obviously after.
Right.
That's what he's done, because you can't... Bitcoin is not a
formal commonly known currency yet.
And it hasn't been
since
displayed as yet.
No.
Anyway, so...
And it probably never will be.
No, because it's too
fundamental.
Well, it means big trouble for big governments and banks and stuff. So,
and that's why Bitcoin exists, because it's free.
Yeah.
It's free to do as is, whereas currency is controlled by VAT and otherwise government. So right, okay, so we've
So
established
he was
that.
able to, like, for example, pick up, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of bitcoins.
Because the exchange rate of the value of Bitcoin went
transferred
up.
it. Probably those hundreds of thousands of bitcoins probably mounted to, I don't know, between £2,000 and £5,000. He's brought into some sort of pizza company, like Domino's or whatever, and he's now ended up with this.
Now, I'm going to say to you, based
Maybe.
on this conversation, I'm going to say to you that makes sense, but I'm still not going to go with that. And the only reason for that is because, as much as that seems to be the only logical view that can possibly be taken from this point here, it doesn't say anything about shares. So I'm going to say that I'm agreeing with you. I am.
He's agreeing with
I
me.
have to, because there's no other explanation for this.
Yeah.
Is there?
No.
He can't pay by Bitcoin, and even if he was back then, it probably wasn't worth much, but the same amount of Bitcoin that he used to pay for those 2 pizzas now are worth 440 million. That's what I think.
There you go.
But he transferred that money into pound sterling or euros or Swiss francs. It may have been. Was it Swiss francs in 2010? Could have been Swiss francs. It wasn't euros, was it? Or could have been francs if it was French.
I don't know.
In 2010 we had francs and Swiss francs, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
So
No.
it was before that, wasn't it?
No,
okay, no, it was euros. So
they went by about, by the end of the 1990s.
right. So okay, we did have francs and Swiss francs then. That was late. That was earlier. So it was euros then. So it's likely going to be euros, isn't it? Unless it was pounds. But neither here or there. Regardless of the currency, it would have to have been either one of those two currencies potentially. And in that case, although it originated from Bitcoin, it was still not Bitcoin, because it wasn't physically Bitcoin, because I wouldn't have accepted Bitcoin. So as much as he knew it was Bitcoin, as much as it probably was Bitcoin, when the guy received the money for the 2 pizzas, it was of currency that is known commonly
to that country.
country. So
he would have had to have changed it over to that.
however, the possibility is the amount of the 2 pizzas that would have amounted to, so the financial amount of which the 2 pizzas amounted to, would have potentially now been worth maybe 440 million.
Yeah, but yeah, there's no way 2 pizzas is ever going to get to that.
No, it's not.
It's
That's what I saw. That's what I saw. But what I'm saying is, the equivalent of what 2 pizzas would cost in Bitcoin back then, now would be potentially 440 million's worth.
Does anyone have a
back
nail
then-
gun handy?
No, I get it. I get it now.
Nail gun?
I get it. Wacko Jackson has hidden a comment.
Oh dear.
Held for review, hidden by... right, okay. Okay, Wacko Jacko, we would look forward to seeing that, unless otherwise not. What's this say? A professional chef claims the key... Oh, we had that one already.
Yeah, we missed that one.
What did you say?
Get in there. Get in there.
Right.
Oh, sorry, I need a pin.
What?
Do I need a pin? No, I pinned something. Oh God, what have I done?
Oh, I do. He does. He does. He understands.
Wacko, Jacko, we'll get back to you at some point because I do not know what the hell I'm doing on this.
This think you boys have eat too many pizzas in lockdown. Thanks, Wacko.
That is perfect.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks very much.
Something that could have actually turned out to be
Well, finally, we've come off of
totally like
pointless news.
a situation. You know, it could have caused like a major sort of like
I haven't.
outblow, but
I haven't, Wacko,
it worked
eaten.
out right, didn't it?
It did. I haven't, Wacko, eaten too many
That
pizzas.
messed up
However,
mine.
I haven't eaten too many pizzas, Graham. But however, I've eaten lots of
Pizza.
meat.
He likes sausage.
Salami. Gotta go.
He likes it
Andrew.
chopped.
Andrew, thank you very much, Andrew. It's been a pleasure again. thank you very much for coming along. It has been a while since our last show, hasn't it? And
Too long.
too long. And I appreciate you coming back and spending your evening with us.
We'll try and keep it regular for
We
at
will,
least
and
once
we'll keep
a week at least.
We will keep it
We'll
more
try.
fulfilled as well, won't we? Because of course,
Yeah.
okay, we were a bit short on some content this evening, but it was more to the point of
No,
showing
it's
off.
worked fine.
I think it has
Okay.
worked really well. Yeah.
Too much information, we don't get it across because we sometimes elaborate maybe a bit too much.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we've done really well. Thanks very much, Andrew, for your time. Got to go. So we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank
and keep
you,
following
mate.
us.
See
And
you soon. Yeah.
speak to you soon as well, Andrew. Thanks very much for moderating tonight as well. Appreciate it. That's pretty much it then, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. It's really appreciated, and have a good evening. Alright, cheers to you all.
Cheers.
My tonic
Stay
water.
safe. We'll soon be out of lockdown.
The last bit of tonic water.
And the last bit of tonic water, gin.
And a shot of lemon. And nothing else.
Yeah.
Did I hear the word gin?
No.
No, didn't think so.
Good night, everyone.
Something wrong with my ears.
Good night.
Good night.
Shh.
Yeah.